Before we get started, a big thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch, with the Patreon people coming up on screen now. A big thank you to my legendary supporters Mike, Kira, Obi-Wan Canty and Shao Quinn. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. If you would like to help support me and the channel, then you can head over to twitch.tv/mandatoryquest and drop a sub over there. Or you can go over to patreon.com/mandatoryquest and become a Patreon member for some early access to some videos and some behind the scenes stuff. Hey!
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Well, welcome again, and thank you again so much for agreeing to come on and show us some more second edition. That was a nice, like, sneaky play. Always fun.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are playing Ritual Chamber, which is this the one? I'm not quite sure. Is this the one with originally had like the night demons and stuff in the first room with all the traps?
No.
Or am I thinking of a different one?
No, that is Runa's Crypt, which is now scenario number 2. No, this is scenario 11. This used to be called Outer Ritual Chamber. It was in the forest. It was the one that, I mean, if you look at the map layout, it's a little bit different because there's that back room, but it used to be this central room with these corpses in the center and a ring of 6 cultists around the outside. So you just started in a room with 6 cultists.
Oh, yes. Yep. Okay. Yep. And if they all summoned on the first turn, it was...
They all summoned the first turn, he lost.
Yes, yeah, it's a significant problem.
Yeah.
Let me get I need to get the camera, don't I? I need to do a little camera. Boop.
That's fine. I'm just picking my level up cards.
Boop. And then I can't remember what I did. I think I did it like this, didn't I, before? Oop. Oh, you actually prefer to do it like this, don't you? Do you think that that's better?
Yeah, well, I usually set the picture-in-picture on the map, because that's kind of the thing you always want to have people be able to reference, so that when you're looking at your cards on stream, they can see like, oh, okay, yeah, so he's 3 hexes away from this night demon, so if he's talking about ranged attacks, you know, it's for that.
Smart.
So yeah, generally I think that showing the picture-in-picture of the play area is best, and then moving around from there.
Nice. Cool. So I've got to make some decisions then, I guess, for my cards.
Yeah. So you should pick the level 2 through 5 cards as if you don't know what the scenario is. Then you're welcome to take a look at the scenario and
yes,
pick your level 1 cards accordingly.
So spoiler, everyone, I have already kind of looked through this and kind of picked what it was for the sake of us being able to kind of start a bit quicker rather than me going through everything and reading everything for the first time. So I have gone through this a little bit just so I knew what I was probably going to pick. I think I was going to go with Earth. I was going to go for Earth and Spikes as the level 2. I was going to go Stone Sigil. I'm going all in on Earth. I made the decision. I'm just going to go all in on Earth. An Unstoppable Beast. And then Invocation of Domination. Those are the ones I want. We're going all in on Earth.
Fair enough. I guess Invocation of Domination consumes wind, but if your plan is to use it primarily for the bottom, then that would maintain the all-in on Earth.
Yeah, well, I figured that there'll be like some that will be a little bit of Earth and some that will be a little bit of wind. Like we're sprinkling of wind.
Makes sense.
Right, and then we're gonna go for that. I feel like it's really interesting. The new Concentrated Rage is very interesting.
Yeah. It's I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like it's like I don't know, like in a way it feels more so that like you could play it in kind of any build a little bit more rather than necessarily feel like, okay, if I'm going all in on the bear, I'm playing this, and that really affects your playstyle. Whereas this could be, hey, it's just some nice value you're going to accrue over the course of the scenario, even if you don't kind of super push it.
Yeah, that's basically the goal, was to make it so that you can still use it in other builds. There are plenty of people who tested hybrid builds. It's also obviously just a bit of a sideboard card against Retaliate in general. The class is primary means of dealing with Retaliate. So even if you were like, I'm only going to do invocations, if you run into a scenario with a fair amount of Retaliate, especially like low Retaliate value, things like Inox Guards or Hounds, then hopefully, like, yeah, you know what? This seems like it would be very good here. So yeah, that was a bit of the goal.
Okay, let's just chuck all of this in here so I know roughly where I'm at. I think we're going to go Howling Bolts. I think I'm there, aren't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. What am I missing? Oh, Forced Aggression. Yeah, cool. Right.
Okay, this works. All right. So you've got your Wild Fury ready then?
I think so. Right, so where are we? We're starting.
Yeah, so any of these 5 starting hexes down there.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll quickly go over the scenario rules.
Sure.
So the scenario is complete when all enemies in it are dead. The living corpses have +1 level, so they're level 5. Everything else is level 4. We have otherwise cultists, living bones, although again, no guarantee that they'll actually be living bones, as any scenario with cultists has bones, night demons, and sun demons. So at the start of the 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th rounds, we spawn a cultist. So for 2 pairs, 1, 1, 1, 1. So there should only be 1 here. It's weird that it's set up 2. I guess it's just, you know, anyway. So yeah, basically on the 2nd, 5th, 8th, and 11th rounds, we'll spawn a single normal cultist at A. And then these cultists are a little bit special that they don't perform any move abilities on their ability cards. Instead, each round, they'll do a move 2 towards the nearest closed door. So one of these 2 doors here, trying to open it, and then they'll perform any other abilities on their ability card.
Okay.
So yeah, basically they're just trying to open the doors, and well, I mean, if they're trying to open them, it's probably a safe assumption that we don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Pyrosos, is there any way to bump up Gripe's mic? I think we had this problem before. If I bring myself down a little bit, and then hopefully by comparison, you should. I don't know if there's a way to turn Twitch up, but if I turn myself down a little bit, then that usually means that if you can turn up Twitch a bit, that might help. Because I think we maxed out, didn't we? Pretty much last time.
Yeah, I can't turn up my mic any higher than I have it, unfortunately. I just have a, you know, basically a 6-year-old headset, which doesn't function so well anymore.
Nice.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can put your bear in. And
Yeah, so we want to start the bear. The bear. Sure. I can't even remember what the bear's stats are. Oh, we've got them actually on the card now. That's great.
Yep.
Hey, so we got a move 3, attack 2. Okay, so that's fine.
So this is actually not the, I mean, if you saw it in the update, this is not the actual map. This is just what we were using for playtesting. But the actual map does also have the stats on it, as here. Okay. So I took, oh, yeah, I like that. Because I want to try to basically go to where the cultist is going to be as quickly as possible.
Sure.
I'll try to deal with the cultist for us while you mess around with these.
I will do that. I can mess around. We'll probably go for quite a nice solid opener here, I think. That will be our initiative. And then... Oh, of course, we need to play that card. Never forget.
Okay. You ready?
I am ready.
All right. Oh, so you are still doing Concentrated Rage. Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Makes sense. It shouldn't actually done cultists here. It just thinks that there's one on the map because we have it set up back there. So
Oh,
there's
of
no
course.
cultist.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're up first.
All
Or
right.
more accurately, your bear is up first.
Boom, boom. All right, so we're going to attack. You're going to have to remind me again. There's a draw for that, isn't there? I haven't
So
got
you're
the...
just charging into the corpses with the bear early in the round. All right. That's, well, we'll see how this plays out.
That's fine, miss. What could possibly go wrong? Okay. Then I'll use Earth and Spikes to what are these guys doing? Are they moving or what are they doing?
Yeah, they're going to be doing move +1, attack -1.
Okay, so we'll immobilize the elite. So I'm gonna attack the elite for 2.
Okay.
Create Earth. Oh, rolling. Nice.
Oh.
Hey, there you go. So 4 damage, create Earth, and immobilize. Not too shabby.
5 damage because you get the +1 from being within range 4 of the.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
the
sorry.
bear and the wild fury.
Yeah, of
range 4
course.
each other.
Nice.
All right.
And immobilize. That's pretty good.
Well, good then.
And then the bottom is we will play our Concentrated Rage.
All right.
So Concentrated Rage is in play.
Let me get you a thing to make that a bit easier.
I got the miss out of the way early. Yeah. Start as we mean to go on, I think. I mean, it actually led to a pretty powerful attack out of pretty much nowhere with the with our other cards, so with Earth and Spike, so I can't complain.
So do you want the tracker near the map for easier reference or near your character?
Near the map. That's a good idea.
Okay.
And that's just in shot as well for the camera, so that works really well.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. So I'm up. I'll use the bottom of backstab just as a move 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5. I mean, I really need to be within range 3 of it. Or do I? Hold on. What am I going to do to it next turn? Yeah, no, I really want to be in range 3 of it. Yeah. I'll stop here. Don't worry. I'll get the coins and chest later.
I'm sure you will. I'm not worried about that.
And then I will I'll activate the top of Stick to the Shadows, which adds +1 attack and poison to my next 3 attacks.
Nice.
Okay. So then we have the corpses. So the elite loses immobilize. This one's going to run here. So they're going to attack the bear twice. Oops, I gave you the wrong chess piece. You definitely should have Warden's Robes. There we go. Okay.
Ah.
All right. So the first is going to be an attack 3 poison on the bear.
Mm-hmm.
+1, so 4.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Do we have a health dial for the bear? Oh,
So
you're just doing it on the standard.
I just do it on the mini.
Okay,
It's
cool.
the simplest way. Okay, and then the next one is -2. So the next was an attack 4 because the poison's already there, so 2.
I guess we use the Warden's Robes on that one.
Okay, makes sense.
Right.
All right, so it takes none. Not so bad in the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now the cultist spawns in. I have got to mess around with it. Okay, I'll do a bit of damage to the elite corpse, and I'll do the most I can to the cultist.
Sure. Hmm. Well, the question is, do we try and heal the bear as best we can here? I think possibly we do.
Yeah, Pyrus, I think that the biggest thing was just, it's obviously not very interactive to be foregoing half of your actions every round, so. While it was certainly fun, especially at first, it was very novel, the amount of damage it dealt. It got old kind of quickly because, yeah, it's very repetitive. You have very few level up choices, and yeah, I mean, you play half as many actions as anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
CR only augments when the bear hits things or when the bear suffers damage from retaliate when attacking. It does not go up when the bear gets attacked.
Oh, and Lunacy will be back to Frosthaven stuff once, probably once the Backerkit is probably concluded for Gloomhaven Grand Festival, or when the campaign's probably over, because at that point we'll probably have a bit of a break from the second edition stuff and we'll go back to Frosthaven. So, soon. Okay. I really want to do this, but I'm now very conscious that my bear is just going to probably die, which is not a great place to be, especially not this early in a scenario. Could do a little bit of that, couldn't I? Which works quite well. Okay.
The corpses are immune to poison, by the way.
Oh, that's new.
Yes.
Okay, that may change what I do a little bit. Well, I could use Nature's Gift top here. Wouldn't be bad. With maybe Howling Bolts bottom, or maybe with Invocation of Spirit bottom. Or just a shield, heal. Yeah, okay. That's fine, actually. That kind of gets stuff done, doesn't it?
You do have Earth this round as well, don't forget.
I do, yeah. Well, I mean, trust me, with all of my might, I just want to play Unstoppable Beast top. That's literally the only thing I want to do right now, but I'm very aware that if I do that, I might kind of be in trouble. I mean, I guess we'll be attacking for 5. These guys have so much health. 14. It's just, it's not getting there, is it?
Well, with a bit of shield, maybe it's enough.
Yeah, true. I could go this, and then shield kind of offsets the poison. All right, you've talked me into it. You've talked me into it. All right, ready.
All right. Cultist is, of course, going for a summon on turn 1. Classic cultists. But at least there's not 6 of them.
Some things don't change in second edition.
Indeed. Okay, I'm going to use the bottom of Hidden Daggers. So this is attack 1, target 2, range 3, add +1 on each target that is adjacent to none of its allies. And then I also get 2 uses of the Shadows, giving me +1 attack and poison. So I'll be attacking the Elite Corpse and the normal Cultist. So both these will be attack 3s with poison. Obviously no poison on the Corpse.
Nice.
So first on the Corpse, 4 damage. And then on the normal Cultist, 4 damage and poison. That should be enough to secure the kill. And then I'm going to use the top of Duelist Advance. So this is a move 3, attack 4, move 2, my level 5 card. So I'm going to step to here.
That's definitely got a few higher numbers than before.
Yep. Yeah, well, yeah. So before Duelist Advance was what, a level 3 card, which is just the move 3, attack 3, but yeah. Okay, so this is going to be an attack 4, +1 from 6 of Shadows, +1 from the poisons. This is an attack 6 on the Cultist. That's enough. We got it. Okay.
Nice. Oh, I suppose we haven't been tracking XP, but does that really matter? I suppose not so much.
No, you don't. I mean, if you want to track your XP, you're welcome to, but I don't really bother when doing this.
Okay.
We also didn't grab battle goals.
That is true, yeah. Okay, so I guess our bear's going to be attacking, and it'll be attacking standee number 4. So it is a +1. So it's going to be, what, 4 damage?
3 damage?
3 damage, sorry. Yep. It's attack 2, right? Then we will do, let's go for it then. Let's do an Unstoppable Beast. We will consume that earth. So we will command the bear to do an attack 4. So again, we'll do on the first one, +0.
4 damage.
And on the second one, ooh,
nice.
+1 damage and a wound.
So 5 damage and wound.
Nice. And then for our bottom action, then we will give the bear shield 1. Unfortunately, we can't poison the living corpses, but we do get to create the earth, which is nice. So that was a round-based effect. Yeah, it goes
All right, so there's no cultists, so we just have the corpses. So this corpse is actually 3 hexes to you and to me, but you're actually 3 hexes away, and I'm 4 hexes away, so its focus is still you. So it will just move to here. This one will take 1 from its wound, so you'll have 2 attack 5s going to the bear here. Well, fortunately...
Hey, I took that perk.
You took the perk.
I took the perk.
All right, so
I'm not messing around.
Just a +0, so you have it's an attack 5. You have 1 shield, so it's effectively 4. So 4 damage to the bear, putting the bear down to 10. And the second one attacks. It's a +1, so that'll be 5 damage to the bear, putting the bear down to 5.
Yeah, a bit awkward.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the biggest thing that made this a little bit harder was kind of having the bear get hit round 1.
Yeah, I probably should have played late round 1.
Yeah, I think that.
I was an eager beaver.
Yeah, I mean, you had rage in your eyes. Okay, and so actually, constant rage is up to 3, by the way. So the next hit will be +3.
Nice.
Okay, so
we could maybe have an impactful round.
And try to help.
The poison's not helping though. Blocking the heal is not doing me any favors here. Could go for the double. Okay. Could go for the double heal.
So yeah, I'll go ahead. I can absorb 1 hit. Maybe I can absorb 2 hits. I think this round actually. Try to keep the bear alive.
Okay. Well, I could get the monolith in play. Maybe.
Sure.
Is that a good idea?
Would help.
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea, right? I kind of wanted to play the monolith as well because it seemed like quite a fun thing to play. So I thought I'd give it a go.
Makes sense.
And if we get the monolith in like a fairly central location, we should get some nice benefit from it. Where do I want it? Probably want it like here. I presume you're going to like over here.
Sorry, yeah, I'm gonna go to like here or here, basically.
Yeah, around this kind of area. Okay.
Yeah.
Just try and keep it within range 3 of you.
Some hits.
All right, so we'll go for that, and then a bottom. Okay, yeah.
The bear was poisoned, yes, but the bear also had shield 1, which was why. So basically, the poison was just more or less negated that round. Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry, no, never mind.
That's okay. So I think I'll just do that, and I think we will do this. Gives us a bit of flexibility. Okay.
Okay. Yes, the corpses are going to be doing the AoE poisons this round. That doesn't change too much. Okay. So I'm up first. I'm going to use the bottom Sinister Opportunity as a move 5. It's a shame. I
am playing Focus Rage. Sorry, carry on. I am playing Focus Rage or Concentrate Rage. I guess Focus Rage, Concentrate Rage.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just stay here. No reason to go all the way down. Yep. And so then I'm going to do the top of Flanking Strike, the old classic. So this is just an attack 5 targeting the corpse on the left, number 6. And then I will also use my Black Knife here, adding Curse to this attack. So because we are helping the demons here, I do have a Demon 5 reputation item, which is the Black Knife.
Ooh, nice.
Yep. Okay. So here we go. Oh, that's exactly what I was hoping to draw. Thank God. All right. That makes a big difference for this round. So that does 6 damage.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
Putting this to 2, disarms it, and we throw a curse in there.
Nice.
Yeah, I grabbed both of those perks. I figured in a party with a Beast Tyrant it was a good choice because the bear is, well, as we've seen here, liable to take a lot of damage. Okay. You're up.
All right. Bears go then. So Bear's going to focus on number 4. And we're going to get our first trigger of the new Concentrated Rage. So because we have 3 tokens, we're going to get a +3 to this attack. So we'll draw.
Oh, nice.
Here we go. Now we're cooking.
Ooh.
Oh.
How much is that?
Oh, Jesus. Right. That was another... Was it +1 as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a +0. Okay. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
It's an attack 8 right there.
Yep.
I think that's enough, I think.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. Attack 8, and the bear gets to remove that poison, which is pretty clutch here as well. Great. So target's good there. So I'm going to go for a move 3 here. I'm going to go. Ooh. I won't get too well. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I could get greedy here. Huh? I mean,
It should be. It's probably fine. The worst case scenario, if you take 1 hit. Well, I guess the counterpoint is the corpse is doing an AoE poison this round, but I don't know how much you actually care about that yourself. So I mean,
well, I'm just
get hit often.
Yeah, hang on. What was the range on the? Oh, so range 2. Okay. Well, actually, I could probably. No, actually, let's get the loot. Come on, let's get the coins. Let's be serious.
Okay.
We're getting the coins. And then we will consume the earth.
Okay.
And we will do a nice heal on the bear. And because it is the bear, it gets an additional heal. So it's going to be heal 3.
I presume you don't want to use the earth there, though, right?
Oh, of course, yeah, because I'm using the monolith. Sorry, yeah, of course, yeah. Sorry, so heal 2 on the bear. Sorry, and then we use the earth to summon the monolith, and we'll put it slap bang in the middle of the room. I think.
So, yeah, this is a bit bugged out, but it'll work regardless.
Chuck him there. Nice.
Okay, and so the monolith does what?
So the monolith gives us all allies within range 3 gain shield 1 XP, and it is replayable, which is nice. So if it does die, or we choose to just unsummon it to resummon it, in a better location, we've got the flexibility to do so, which is a big improvement over the kind of old totem system, I think.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, the one of them was funny, right, with the health swapping, but that was about it. The novelty of that also wore off pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, that one was kind of fun.
Okay, so the elite corpse is going to attack me. I'll go ahead and use my studded leather on this attack, because this is a pretty large attack 7 poison. Okay, so -1 is 6. So I have 1 shield from the monolith and 1 shield from my studded leather, so I take 4, get poisoned, and the Wild Fury also gets poisoned because it does the AoE poison afterwards, and generates another earth.
Free earth for everyone.
Yep. Okay, so we'll have a cultist popping back up in a round. Not this round, the following one. So I'm just going to... Oh yeah, sorry, and also the bear actually does get poisoned again as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
One loses the disarm, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that will die to wound if the bear doesn't kill it first.
Okay. Let's just change the battery in my headset quickly.
Yep. Yes, living corpses can generate earth. So a lot of the living corpse changes actually are just updating them to how they were in Jaws of the Lion. I think, pretty sure the earth generation on living corpses was already in Jaws of the Lion. But yeah, for example, the poison immunity is new.
Nice, I'm back.
Yep. Gripeaway, can you tell us anything about the conversation to make more summons that aren't persistent losses? It helps players a ton, but what was the focus for keeping them balanced? Yeah, I mean, not all summons are difficult to make because, yeah, I mean, first of all, they're kind of always going to be free disarms at the very least. So yeah, you always just have to have a cost. I mean, you don't want to do too many of them to begin with. It's meant to be more of a unique thing. It doesn't show up all the time. And yeah, you just have to have a cost of summoning them. So on the Wild Fury, for example, that cost is an element. I mean, it requires a turn of setup to make the element, and then you're not using the element to do something else. For example, on the Wild Fury, an element could be an invocation, which represents 6 healing or 6 damage over the course of 3 rounds. So yeah, the element cost is very real. If we'd made the exact same things, but without the elements, then yeah, they would have been overpowered. So I will attack the Elite Living Corpse, and then I'll just move up a little bit towards where the cult is going to spawn.
Yes, I can probably do this, and it would probably be a pretty good turn, actually. Okay. I guess part of it as well with like balancing summons to be replayable is kind of tweaking kind of like initiative values maybe a little bit like with other cards, because of course like playing a summon kind of late and then getting a good early turn out of them the next round, but then maybe losing them that round because they're kind of in the way. I don't know if that kind of plays into it a little bit.
A little bit,
Mm.
certainly. Okay, so the corpses are doing their nothing specials, so that puts us up. All right, I'll start with the top of Gruesome Advantage. So this is an attack 4, and I add +2 if either any of my allies are adjacent to the target or the target is adjacent to none of its allies. So in this case, the Elite Living Corpse is adjacent to the Wild Fury, so this lets me make an attack 6 on the Elite Living Corpse.
Nice.
Okay. Just 6 damage, that's fine. And then I'll just use the bottom of Throwing Knives as a default move to go back up this way. And I probably need to use a stamina potion here. Now my top, well, I guess it's pretty easy for you to kill that corpse there. Hold on, I guess, are you planning, what is your plan this turn? Because I guess it depends how far I move, whether I want to still be in range of the monolith or not.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm kind of hoping that the bear just kills the, well, it's probably just going to kill the living corpse, right? I'm going to waste an attack there. But then potentially, actually, my cards aren't going to work now because of that, because Spirit Swap's, oh no, Spirit Swap's still going to work because it's going to move him 1. So then, yeah, move the bear up to attack the elite. Attack for 2 and get poison, and then probably I will then just grant, well, I mean, I could grant, I can move up to you, or I should probably just grant the retaliate and the shield to the bear, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure it didn't matter if I was here, but it looks like if the bear will be next to the living corpse, then the monolith will still work. So yeah, I'll just go there and I'll not use my stamina potion. So your turn. I'm playing the Silent Knife. Okay, you're up.
Nice. Okay, so bear first. Gonna draw. Yep. That is enough. So we get 1 on our little counter here. Then we'll play Spirit Swap. So the bear is gonna go yoink. It's gonna take up them coins. Then we'll consume this earth element here to teleport me to. I mean, I guess I don't really need to do that, but sure, why not? It's fun. Yoink. Then we'll use the bottom here to just, I won't move.
Sorry, you still got the attack.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, sorry. And then he attack 2 with wound, with the bear, which you draw +1. So 3 damage. And then we will just grant the bear an additional shield and retaliate as well.
Okay.
Nice.
So the corpse will go, suffers 1 from the wound, will attack the bear. So attacks for 6 + 1 for the poison, so 7 on the bear. That's 8. But fortunately, the bear has 2 shield, 1 from the monolith and 1 from focus aggression. So that puts the bear to exactly 1 life.
That's fine.
And the corpse takes 1 retaliate.
No problem. Planned.
This is fine.
Who needs, like, you know, health?
Yep. All right. And that's the end of the round. Okay. I'll have to short rest.
Okay. Well,
what was that?
It's quite nice that we don't have to do anything, but I'll basically just play my 2 cards. Oh, hang on. Before I do that, probably want to get rid of these.
All right.
Oh, you can grab
a normal cultist. Throw that here. Unfortunately, I lost my level 5 card on the short rest, rerolled, and lost not only what is my level 3, but also just kind of my best card for this turn. So that's not great.
I'm basically just healing the bear and doing not a lot more than that.
Makes sense.
I'm going to probably have to take several turns of doing that, I think.
Fair enough. Well, we got, after we kill this cultist, I mean, we don't have to open the doors ourselves anytime soon, and the next cultist won't be for 3 more rounds. It'll probably take me an additional round to kill this, but you've got time to do the you stuff.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. So I'm up first. I'm just using the bottom of Backstab as a giant move. I'm going to move up here. I guess I'm going to move here to block the cultist a little bit, so it'll be next to me next turn. And then I'll use the top of Single Out. Single Out is now just attack 3 and +2 attack if the target is adjacent to none of its allies. Nice. Go ahead and use the Poison Dagger on this while I'm at it, because I don't really have a better target for the Poison Dagger anytime soon. in this scenario. So that's an attack 5 with poison, +1, so 6. Puts the cultist to 3 life and poisoned. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to go ahead and use my Amulet of Life to remove my poison. Okay, so then the cultist goes. So like I said, the cultist, if you look at its ability card, it's going to ignore everything, any move ability on the ability card. So it does not perform move +0. Instead, just performs a move 2 towards the nearest door. So we can have it go here. Just have it go there. So I'd like it next to me. It will then attack me for 1, which is not the end of the world. Yeah, for 0. And that's its turn.
Okay.
So you're up.
So Bear is going to get another attack.
Yep.
Which is good because although this is obviously like, oh well, it was going to die anyway. This is kind of good for concentrated rage, right? Because we're going to get a trigger here. So we're going to be sat on our thing.
I mean, that's
a miss as well. There you go. Get the shuffle out of the way. Perfect. Yep. Exactly. Right now we're going to be all charged up for the next attack. So what we'll do is then we'll just do a nice little nature's gift. So we'll heal the bear for 2, which just removes the poison, but does give it the nice new condition of safeguard, which means that if it would get the poison again. And then we will heal for 3 as well.
Okay. So
creating ourselves some earth.
All right. So then Living Corpse goes and just dies to its wound.
Right, so I could probably I should probably long rest here.
Yeah, you're fine to long rest if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. I could fail to kill the cultist, and then it'll flip a summon, and that would be moderately annoying. But honestly, still not even the end of the world. Okay, so then I just have to figure out.
Safeguard is condition immunity, right? Yes. The next time you would receive a negative condition, prevent it and remove safeguard.
Okay, yeah, I've got a line here that should more or less prevent me from failing. If you just press the long rest button on the player interface.
Aha.
Okay, here we go. So I'm up first at 7. So I'm going to go ahead and use the bottom of gruesome advantage here. This is a move 3. Doesn't really matter where I move with this. I'm going to move with duelist advance after. So when you next perform a melee attack targeting an enemy that has poison this round, after the attack ability, perform attack 2 range 3 poison.
Hey, so that's nice.
Yeah, so effectively I'm kind of like stabbing something and then pulling out the poison dagger and then throwing it either at something else or in this case at the same enemy, because when you really just hate someone. So then I'm going to use the top of Duelist Advance. I will do a move 3 going just over to the right of the cultist, and then this is going to be an attack 4 with Duelist Advance, +1 because the target's poisoned, so attack 5. Okay, so that kills, so I actually don't need the bottom of Gruesome Advantage here, but this was just on the off chance that I missed. Then I would still have gotten to do, an attack 2 disadvantage, +1 for the poison. So actually, because I have no negative modifiers in my deck, which is something consistent from Scoundrel version 1 and version 2. This was actually 100% kill this round, because even if the first attack had missed, a disadvantaged attack 3 would still kill a 3 health enemy. But it was unnecessary. And then I get the move 2 from Duelist Advance, which conveniently lets me get to the chest. So I won't spoil this chest for viewers here today. We're avoiding during the campaign showing off anything essentially higher than Prosperity 2 items, because there's a lot of new items and we'd like people to be able to experience these on their own, so no reason to show that. But well,
unless of course it's a trap and this is all just a complete bait.
There are still trap chests, and I'll just say this. I mean, this is not every trap chest will be in the same spot that it was in the first edition.
Nice, like it. You gotta do that. You gotta mix it up.
Of course. Which isn't to say that none will be the same either. So some, I'm sure at least one is the same, and I'm sure at least one has changed. I guess I'll say that as a minimum, and then you'll never know.
Well, that's enough to put the fear into people, so that's fine.
Exactly. Because now if they knew one was a trap before, they're like, should I open this? Because it could still be, but it also, they could miss out on something. All right. So I'm done. The cultists are done because they're dead. The bear cannot move in any way here with focus. And so you just get your turn.
All right, so I'm just going to be doing, well, remove my poison basically and get my item back. And then we're getting rid of a card, aren't we? So.
And you also, so since we're friends with the demons, you do have the circlet of elements here. So since you made Earth, you can actually even basically
yeah,
reset
sure.
that Earth for
Yeah, of
yourself
course.
for free because
Boop,
you
boop,
can just
boop,
get it
boop.
back.
Yeah, let's do that then. Let's have Earth strong again for the next round.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to take all these into my hand. There we go. Ah! Deal. Draw. It's me being terrible. Draw. Oh, I've only drawn one of them. That might have been the problem there.
Oh, so the easiest way to draw a pile of cards is to mouse over it and press the number of cards in the pile or a number greater. So if you press 8 or use double tap 1 because it'll be 11.
Perfect, thank you.
And also in the player interface, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a button that says sort hand. This will sort your hand by initiative, which just makes it a little bit easier.
Oh, perfect.
Also, I don't know if you wanted to bring back the monolith here or not. That's kind of up to you.
I probably should, yeah.
Yeah, because that will give you an extra turn without having to use your stamina potion.
Yeah, I probably should. Also, that we should go from the benefit that I would probably just want to get that sweet XP again anyway.
Also fair.
Yeah. Even though we're not counting XP today.
Yep.
Spirit Swap was kind of good, but maybe that's what's to get rid of here.
All right, I'm just going to hang out up here by where the cultist is going to spawn, grab one of these coins, and then next turn kill the cultist that spawns in.
Well, considering that most of the enemies seem to be immune, I'm thinking, seem to be immune to poison. Maybe Nature's Gift isn't so good, but the top is quite good for this scenario.
Well, that being said, a bit of healing right now is not the worst.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want, isn't it? So, okay. Let's just get rid of Spirit Swap. I mean, I don't like it because I actually thought that was quite good, but there you go. It's an easy choice. It doesn't have a heal on it, so we'll get rid of it. I haven't missed a single attack. I think I've... If only that was true. I think I've missed like two maybe so far.
You missed 2. You missed the first one and the last one, actually.
To be fair, I'm either getting like the nuts draw or the worst draw. That seems to be the way that it's going for me so far.
I mean, yeah, you did flip for an attack 8 at some point, so.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Okay, so we're gonna. I think we just go for the diminishing returns though. He hasn't removed his safeguard yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we can just. Oh, I know what we do. Yeah, I know what we do. I know what we do. So are we opening doors and things, or?
It's up to you. I mean, you're welcome to open doors. I've got a cultist spawning in a turnip here, so okay. I would rather, like, I don't really want to leave cultists behind, but you're welcome to. And don't forget, you can command the bear to open doors now.
Oh, you can?
Yes, you can. Ooh. Borrowed from Gloomhaven Digital, actually. As it were.
When a bug actually becomes a feature.
When a bug becomes a feature. But yeah, so basically the bear cannot open doors on its own, but if it's specifically on the character mat, it says that when you may command it to open doors.
Oh, nice.
All right, so I'm up. I'm just going to use the bottom of throwing knives as a default move 2. Going to, I guess I should have actually, but then I would not get a coin. I mean, I'm obviously going to get a coin. Let's be real.
I mean, if you don't end up on 10 coins, I'll just be disappointed, I think.
I didn't actually bring loot cards in this scenario because it's a pretty high pressure scenario. But and then I'm going to activate Stick to the Shadows again, adding +1 and poison to my next 3 attacks. Okay,
probably doesn't help when you have to bail me out of it on the 3rd turn as well.
Touche.
Great. So Bear's not gonna do anything because he's gonna chill and hang out. And then what we'll do is we will summon a monolith, and we will heal the bear. So nice and simple. But we kind of basically get our turn back. And I think we'll put the monolith here because then we'll go open this door next. That kind of makes sense. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. That's the round. So now we get a new cultist spawn.
Hey Rob, hey Hernandez, how's it going, guys? Well, we have clawed back some of the health on the bear, but it's not like not quite as good as you'd want it to be.
So I won't be able to finish off the cultist this round. So if you're able to go late, the cultist will move down a bit, and the bear could maybe come up and finish it off for me. Because that would be nice. I would love to get a long rest.
Yes, that does actually fit into my plans quite well. So we'll do that.
Okay, great.
Sure, we'll use this. Great.
All right. Oh wow, beat by 1. You do have to boost the speed though if you want.
Aha! Nice.
All right. The rare use case of boost the speed to go slower. Okay.
Yeah, looking forward to when the night demons show up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I'm up. I'm going to use the bottom of flanking strike as a move 5. I'm going to go here because I actually want the cultists to be able to move straight downwards. And then I'm going to use the top of sinister opportunity. So this one gives me +1 if the target is adjacent to any of my allies, +1 if it's adjacent to none of its allies, and advantage in 1 experience if both are true. So this is basically a small payoff for both things. In this case, only 1 is true, but this will just be an attack 4. +1 from Stick to the Shadows and poison. So an attack 5 poison. Okay, 5 damage and poison.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad. Okay, so then the cultist is going to go. So it will move down to here. Again, because it moves 2 no matter what's on its ability card.
Yep, because of the special rules.
Yep. Suffer 1 damage, stun itself, and summon a Living Bones. The Living Bones is actually going to come next to me because I am closest to it. Just grab this off. I'll put that where the coin is for future reasons. Okay, and then you're up.
Okay, well then the bear's gonna. He is gonna not take that.
Bear
coin
picked up a hat.
I mean, he's got a coin hat, and so he's gonna attack.
Okay, so it does unfortunately use the Constant Rage.
It does
build up,
of course, yeah.
But yeah, very, very kills the goal.
I mean, it does the necessary amount of damage. Well, I guess it was poisons, but yeah, it happens, I guess.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, good. Now my turn. So on my turn, I am going to, I think, move up and heal the bear. So we'll just kind of. What's the range on? It's only range 3, right? Okay, yeah. Can't quite do what I wanted to do then. Okay, I'll have to go here. Sorry. So I go there. We'll heal up we'll consume the earth to heal the bear.
Okay. So heal the bear for 3.
Yep. Lovely stuff. And then we will attack with forced aggression and create air on the skeleton. So, the bear gets to heal another 2, rolling modifier, and a +1.
Nice. So 3 total damage.
Wow. Let's see. The bear is really started to get back up. There's nothing to worry about going down to 1 health on the bear. Nothing to worry about at all.
It was all fine all along.
Yeah, it was all fine.
Calculated, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
No problem.
All right. There we go. So I'm going to take a long rest now and trust that you can handle this 4 health skeleton.
Yeah. No problem. Now I'm going to play one of the invocations, I think, go for the first time. Although I guess it won't work. So, question about invocation then. I presume that if the enemy is dead, you still use a charge, right? Because it's not a may. It is a mandatory, good word, trigger.
Yes, it would still use a charge even if it killed the target. And also, yeah, I mean, controlling it here won't do anything since it has nothing to attack.
Sure. Okay. Right. Try and discard these 2. Are you long resting?
Yes, I am long resting. I've got 4 spent items that I really want to get back. I also don't care if it hits me. I've got plenty of health. I mean, if it hits me, it hits me. You know?
I might go crazy and open a door. Is that crazy?
I mean, depends where you end up yourself. I mean, you can kind of guess what's in these 2 rooms, right? Because we've never seen any night demons, we've never seen any sun demons, and so either both rooms are going to have both enemies, or one room's going to have all of one room's going to have all the other. So, you know, just bear in mind your HP value, where you end up, and night demons.
Yeah, okay, I won't open the door.
Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't. That it's also fine. It's just I'm some amount of time away from being able to help you there.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take the hint.
Right. So the bear's going to go first. It's going to move over towards living bones.
Okay.
This is your choice where it goes.
Ooh, well, I won't. I mean, I don't want to cover up one of your blessed coins.
Okay.
And we'll draw. Ooh, that is ugly. That is very ugly, actually. That does not makes my turn kind of worse. Well, yeah, it does make my turn kind of worse. Well, I would play the top of Invocation of Dominance.
Okay.
Do that. So we'll consume this air. So I won't do anything right now. And then I was just going to use this as a default move too and just get a little bit closer to the door. So maybe I could do some door opening shenanigans.
Okay.
Later on.
Makes sense. All right, so the bones unfortunately flipped a really annoying card this turn. The +2 attack non-move when I'm long resting next to it, but well, that can happen. So first on the bear, so this is an attack 5, 6 on the bear.
Oh yeah, not even within range of the sigil.
No. And then on me as well. Jeez.
+2 again? Ooh.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to need to heal myself a bit.
You got a health potion, right?
I do have a health potion. I mean, missing 12 health, and the health potion heals for 3, but we'll get there. Okay, and then my long rest. So there's no reason to bring back Sick the Shadows. I can actually keep that out, because that doesn't give me a turn. I can use my stamina potion later. Okay, well, that was really bad for a normal living bones, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was about as bad as it could come there. I suppose I could have stayed in one place and I could have poisoned and muddled it, which may have been a bit more useful than me running off and getting a coin. You know, that was a bit selfish, maybe.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking, deciding not to muddle it when it's going to make 2 attack 5s is okay. But you know, I at the same time, I'm also playing Silent Knife, so I couldn't really fault you for going to a coin.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll definitely kill the bones.
Okay.
And run down towards you.
Okay. You going pretty early?
Yes. I'm going very, very early.
Okay.
I guess the problem with running down is there's going to be another cultist spawning in a turn. Maybe I won't run all the way down, but I will. I'll kill it early, and then we'll see what happens. Okay. Jeez, now it's doing 74. All right, well, anyway, I'll use the top of Sinister Opportunity. This time I do have both things being true. So this is an attack 5 with advantage, +1 from Sick the Shadows. So attack 6, poison with advantage. This is a 100% kill.
Nice.
All right, so that's dead.
And you get the shuffle, which is nice.
Yep. So then I just have to kind of decide how I want to play it with this cultist that's going to spawn. Yeah, I probably need to stay here for the cultist, actually. So in that case, I'll just grab these 2 things.
Okay. So I could choose for the bear now to move towards me, which...
Yeah, I mean, if your plans are to open the door soon, you're welcome to have it down there. I'll be able to handle a cultist by myself without problem.
Let's do that then. So we'll move it towards me, and then I'm going to do a move. Oh god, it's a command. Whoops, I misread that. That's for sure. Oh, I suppose I could open. I could open the door. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll command the bear to open the door. Why not? Let's go for it.
Okay. So
1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Okay.
Not that bad after all. Just 1 elite and 1 normal night demon. That's not the end of the world. And they're doing ranged non-move attack, stacking at range 3.
Okay, well that's good. So, boop, boop.
Okay.
And then we're okay. I guess I can't. I haven't got the range for 1, 2, 3. No.
Nope. Just outside of range.
Just outside of range. Shoot.
All right. So night demons do nothing, and that's the end of the round.
Okay.
And we get another normal cultist.
This is starting to ramp up the pressure on this one.
Yep.
What's the question mark figure? That is the sigil. So that is one of the new or reworked the summons. So it's giving us a passive shield 1 at range 3, within range 3 of it. Well, I'm on a long rest again, which is a bit odd. I was thinking, do I have to short rest here?
Well, I mean, so only the elite Night Demon can make it to you. I mean, it's kind of your call. I mean, I guess technically if they flip a +1 movement, then both of them make it to you. So, no, it's 1 out of 7.
Is that base attack? 5. And we'll have shield 1. We've got 6. I guess we have to get super unlucky. Yeah, okay, let's long rest. And then if I long rest though, I can't do like immobilize shenanigans. Unlikely to get that done.
Oh yeah. Oh no, yeah. You don't have any elements. Yeah.
That's long rest. No, that's long rest.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is risky as anything. What are you doing?
It was, but it paid off.
Oh, thank God for that. Thank God. Oh dear.
So I guess I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, how much you played. So you know that the low initiative number monster ability cards are going to be the ones that have +1 movement and -1 attack, and then the high initiative numbers are going to be -1 movement, +1 attack. And obviously for a Night Demon, 41 is high. So when you see the 41, you're like, okay, oof, it's not the 4, which would be what would do the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Or of course, like the earlies will be like move and damage themselves, or they used to be. I don't know if they are anymore, like on the golems and things.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Silver.
Hey, Silver Metal Tavern. How's it going? The bear is here. So I'm going to step onto this coin and pull this cultist into this hex adjacent to me. And then I'm going to use the top, using the bottom of Duelist Advance. I'm going to use the top of Gruesome Advantage to do an attack 6. Plus I have Stick to the Shadow still active, so that makes this an attack 7 poison. I'm going to go ahead and use the Black Knife here. I think it's reasonable. If this kills, honestly, I'm happy. And if it doesn't kill, we get a curse. Right, yeah. It was pretty likely to not kill there.
Nice.
So that puts it down to 2 and poisons it and shuffles 1 more curse into the enemy deck. Okay. And then the cultist goes. Which perk are you talking about, M. Hernandez? So the cultist is going to do a move 2 towards the nearest unopened door. I don't really want to get attacked, so I can just choose to have it move here. And then it'll have nothing adjacent to attack. And then, so this is a little bit funny, but it is actually still going to heal itself because, so it does attack +0 and then does heal X self, where X is the amount of damage suffered by the target of the attack ability. So it'll do a heal 0 self, but with the rules of Gloomhaven, that does still heal off the poison.
I think it means the city event one perk.
Right. So yeah, I mean it's pretty good. So it's basically, I don't know, you could assume. Obviously, it depends how early you take it. Early on, it's going to be an average of 4 gold per scenario, and then eventually gets up to 5 gold per scenario as an average.
Yeah. Importantly, it's not the number of loot tokens; it's the number of gold total, right? It's not like So it's not like multiplying by the scenario level modifiers.
Oh, it's gold, not tokens. Okay, that
if you were thinking tokens, I can absolutely see why you'd be like, wow, it's like, it's 4, like, you're playing like, it's actually total gold.
So again, I mean, in this on my Silent Knife right now, I did actually check off that perk, even though obviously for a 1 scenario test or session, it's not going to change anything because I would have taken it. I would pretty much always take that early on because I like gold. But I don't know. I mean, if you get it very early on in your lifespan, then it's definitely going to, I think, be strong enough to justify itself. I mean, 5 or 6 scenarios in, you're looking at 30 gold. It's not bad, but it's certainly not going to be really breaking the game, I think, because that's still not. I mean, 30 gold even at that point, which is about halfway through your lifespan, is just going to be a +1 move enhancement. Okay. So the night demons are gonna go. They are gonna make dark, and they're gonna do move -1s. So 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you have a preference for which of these two hexes this goes into.
I had a move -1, didn't they? Oh, they can still get me.
Yeah. Yeah. This still has 4 movement.
That's a good question.
Yes, 1 hex further up makes it easier for me to reach it. So
Sure.
that is a
Yeah.
potential upside.
That's fine.
Although I guess it depends. I suppose if you're gonna keep the sigil, that's not actually true. Because if it's here, then I can still go here. Whereas if it's here, I have to move all the way around to the other side. And I guess the sigil's pretty good right now. So
Yeah, move it down.
yeah,
Yeah, keeping the sigil there as well. And also, we don't want any like awkward. I mean, hopefully the bear's not going to die, but
oh yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, I mean it would take 2 of them to do the AoE damage to it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be an attack 6 on the bear.
oh,
That
this
perk.
the perk value, 6 gold. There we go.
Okay, so yeah, that is a 6, but then you have 1 shield from the sigil, so that makes it a 5. But you're also long resting, so you kind of have the warden's robes for free if you'd like.
Yeah, we'll use the warden's robe.
Okay, so that just turns that into an attack 3 then, so the bear takes 3 damage. Okay.
Nice.
So then it's the bear's turn.
All right, so the bear's just going to straight up attack. Boom. Disadvantage, right? Yep.
So it does 1 damage.
1 damage.
But then you have your invocation.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Oh, perfect. So, I mean, should we send him all the way back?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of up to you. I'll have to go kill the cultist next turn anyway, so it's going to be at least another turn before I get down there. So it really just kind of matters for you.
I guess it depends on whether or not I want the bear to block the door or not, right?
Right. And I guess the other thing to consider is they did make dark, so you could turn that dark into an earth.
I was thinking about doing that, yeah. And then I could potentially...
Yeah?
Yeah, let's put him back. Okay. Sure. So we need to draw some attack modifiers for them, right?
Yeah, for the monster attack modifier deck.
Yep.
With disadvantage attack 2, targeting the other night demon. Okay. 1 damage as well.
Okay. And that... oh, we should have a token for that or something. There you go. Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So then my long rest. So I'm just going to heal up for 2. And then we will... I guess we keep the stone sigil in play. Yeah, this is kind of awkward. Do I keep all of these cards in play now? Ooh. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you keep both of them in play and use a stamina potion, you won't lose a turn. Because you still go up to 6. Otherwise, you could pull one of them back. I mean, it's tough, though, because, yeah, the stone sigil seems decent here. I would argue that the invocation is probably the stronger of the 2 things right now, because it's representing a fair amount of damage with 2 of them up.
Let's leave them both up. Let's risk it. I mean, because at least I can kind of long rest with those cards in play as well. It's not like that bad. Like Stone Sigil up and Bear up. You know, I'm still kind of having a turn even when I'm long resting.
Yep, makes sense.
So that's kind of reasonable. So we'll done that thing again. 6. There we go. So we want to get rid of... Oh, and I'll sorry, I'll use the circular of elements as well to yeah. Get the earth. Okay, so we want to go probably pretty early. This is tough. Yeah, kind of nervous about the bear getting killed, but I don't really see many other ways of dealing with it. Shoot, yeah. I think I probably have to get rid of Howling Bolts. Ooh, unless I go for the burn on the top of that, huh? Nah, that's probably not that great right now. Sure, okay. Tough decisions. Very tough. Alright, so then on this turn, we okay. So you're just killing the cultist, right?
Yes, yeah, I'm just going to kill off the cultist.
Okay.
So it doesn't summon. I mean, short on this, but yeah. They do have 2 curses in their deck too, so there's a bit of a chance for the bear in that regard.
Yeah. I just don't think this is early enough initiative to get what I want done. That's the problem here.
Well, you do have the boots of speed, but yeah, obviously it depends. There are still night demons.
Yeah, and I could go earlier than that, and then I guess I could get... well, then that would be shield 2. 2 attacks, shield 2, both disadvantaged though. Man, the disadvantage that they give you is kind of tough.
Yeah. And don't forget, so if you do make 2 attacks, you will trigger Concentrated Rage, because you've got 2 charges up.
That's true. And knowing my luck, I'll miss on that one. So it's whether or not is it worth a shield 1 or is it better to just do a heal 2? I mean, it's kind of the same, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's more or less effectively the same. So I would just say whichever has a better.
So we just go earlier. We just go early, and if we need to use the boots, we can. Okay, let's try it.
Here we go. All right. Oh, interesting. Oh. Well, you actually can keep the bear from taking any damage here by doing a much less impressive turn, but that's probably going to be what you want to do.
Ooh.
Because, yeah, I mean, you definitely don't want to be next to both of them when they do, attack 4, attack 4, attack 4, attack 4 with Pierce. But yeah, the good news is the bottom of Unstoppable Beast is a command.
Yeah, so we have to just swap what we're doing.
But, alright, I'm up first. I'm going to use the bottom of Flanking Strike, which is a move 5. Conveniently heading over to this coin here. And then I'm going to use the top of Single Out, which is an attack 5. Oh, there's the disarm, but that's fine. Alright. There's no more cultist spawns. I've taken care of all of those, so we're good on that.
Nice.
Alright, you're up.
Thanks for the resub, Zim, with the Prime. Thank you so much, buddy. Really appreciate it. Welcome back. The quest continues, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Right, so... Can I go through the Concentrated Rage effort once again? Because you're not sure if you got it correctly. Yeah, sure. So basically, it's like a charge-based ability now. So whenever the bear attacks or suffers damage from Retaliate, we get to put a token on it. Then once we want to put a token on it, but there's 3 already there. So once we kind of max out 3, that next attack, you remove all the tokens and you get +3 on the attack. So it's like every kind of like 3, I guess at the bare minimum, every kind of 4th attack will be
bare minimum, huh?
Bare minimum. There you go. There you go. Didn't even mean to make that pun. You're gonna get
You're
that.
British. You just can't help it.
Yeah. And then yeah, but if you're playing against Retaliate enemies, it has significantly more value because it should hopefully trigger a few more times.
Yeah, I mean you're already on your 3rd trigger of it here, so we're already looking at 9 attack that it's given us. I mean, well, assuming 9 attacks, so probably something like 12 throughout the scenario.
And as we were kind of saying when we first started the scenario, that it feels a little bit less like it's the, you only play this if you're playing like command abilities like you did with the previous version. It feels much more that this is kind of like a bit more of a tech piece that, any kind of build could pick up and play with if they wanted to. Okay, so our bear's going to go, whoop, and he's going to do an attack on the elite with disadvantage, +1, or miss. I think that'll be a miss.
Yeah, but let's increment that.
So now I'm kind of left with a kind of a crappy decision, but there you go. I guess we get the invocation. The invocation.
Oh, that's true. So you could actually move the one away. But then I guess you wouldn't get to do the 2-target thing anyway. So it probably still would always be better to do. But yeah,
I guess we're gonna have to run away. We have no choice, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just move him back there like that.
Okay.
And he's going to attack the regular.
Oh, God, of course, drawing out the -1s from their deck. Rough.
Well, yeah, at least we didn't draw the curses, right? This is kind of like a bad side effect here. We maybe should have been a bit careful about playing this, considering that there's so much cursing going on.
Yeah, that is good. Well, not that. I mean, I just have my Black Knife, but yeah, you're right. I guess once you got to level 5 and you started using that, I would maybe sell my Black Knife. That's a fair point. All right. All right,
then we'll do the command move 5, and we're going to get out of there. Okay. How much do we want to get out of here? I think we kind of want to stay within 3 movement to at least be able to come in and get an attack at some point, don't we? I think.
Makes sense.
That's okay then. And then we'll do our focused aggression. 1, 2, 3.
So you do have a simple bow, by the way.
Oh, of course, yeah.
For you, so you can toss advantage on this if you want.
Sure, why not? I've drawn my miss already, so I can't miss this round, so it's a good time to cancel out that disadvantage and negate it. Boom.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Okay, that does 4 damage and wounds, which actually means that thing will die before it gets another turn. So
Nice.
that's really good for it.
Oh, did we? No, we didn't use. We've still got 3 charges left on concentrated rage. Nice.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. So the night demons are going to go. So, well, I guess actually, and I mean, I suppose you have the thing up. You could, if you wanted to, with your circlet, turn that earth, which you didn't end up using, into light to give them 2 curses on their ability card. But then obviously that's worse with the invocation, so it just kind of depends how much you want to use the invocation versus.
Well, I could always choose to discard the invocation, couldn't I?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, with a 3 health bear, it is pretty tempting to basically be able to tap your head item for two curses.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty insane value, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Yeah, that's value, really.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I guess what we can do then is we can. I will actually just actively discard this. Straight.
Okay.
Just
I mean,
straight.
you can leave it up for now if you want, because I mean, you can always just discard it when it's going to happen. But I guess if you just want to discard it now to be safe, it's also very
let's just do
reasonable.
it now.
Okay.
Just so I don't forget.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Sorry, I just got to respond to Dennis. Okay, so the night demons go. They consume the light that MQ made to give themselves 2 curses, which puts us up to 4 curses in their deck now, which is very nice. And the one with wound suffers 1 damage. And then, yeah, the cultist doesn't have a turn, goes dead. Okay, so now I have to decide. I should probably not long rest here. That's probably a bit too greedy, and I don't have much to gain from it. Well, I mean, I do need to get some health before we face these sun demons. I mean, you're doing okay there now, right? Like, even if the night demon comes, it's just going to kill the stone sigil, which doesn't really even matter at this point. So, you got this, right? Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I could go really early and just kind of proactively deal with him. Or I could go late. Oh, actually, well, yeah, I could go late and soak 1 attack. Do I have line of sight from there?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Oh, no, you do not. Not to the elite.
Not to the elite. Yeah, that's late. Yeah. Or I go kind of late and we just kind of dawdle a little bit. I think we dawdle a little bit. Yeah.
Why does consuming air means you want to discard? No, consuming air doesn't. So basically, the MQ discarded the invocation because the invocation uses the monster or attack modifier deck, which we've now put up to 4 curses in, and we really would. I mean, with the bear sitting around at 3 health, the monsters drawing those curses at some point is pretty important for keeping the bear alive, which is why the invocation, which makes the monsters attack and use their deck, is a bit of a nombo with our cursing.
Yeah. Basically, knowing my luck, it will draw all of the curses and then it will all be wasted anyway. So let's try and not fall into that trap.
Okay, so the night demon goes. It has 4 movement. It's going to go to here. It will attack the stone sigil.
Oh, yeah? Oh, actually, that's fine. That's actually pretty good in this situation.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's an attack 6 on the stone sigil.
Yeah.
It's basically just eating. So, yep. All right. There we go.
And it wasn't a curse. Perfect.
Yep. Perfect indeed. And then the other one will just die to its wound. And then the bear goes.
Okay. Off we go, bear. Anywhere in particular you would prefer it here?
Probably just on this side is a little bit better for me, because that way I can move to here a little bit more easily.
Sure. Okay.
Well, this is the Concentrated Rage one.
Oh, yeah. And disadvantage, unfortunately.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, that's okay. It's good. We'll take it.
So, 4 damage.
Nice. Reset that. And then on our turn, so I think we could maybe heal the bear, or we could poison and muddle the night demon. It's also kind of spicy here, but
Well, so there's no air or earth here,
yeah,
so
that's the problem. Yeah. It'd just be a boring default attack 2 or something. Yeah, okay, we'll go for like a little bit of a heal here, I think, on the bear instead. So we'll kind of go. I'll loot that coin. Why not?
Nice.
And then we'll do a little heal 2 on the bear, and then another heal 2 on the bear. So heal 4 on the bear, and another safeguard, but he already has safeguard. So
yeah. Okay, and then I get my long rest, and we're on to the next round.
Oh, sorry, and stamina potion. Boop.
Oh yeah, yeah, it makes sense. So just don't forget, only level 1. Although I guess you've been playing Frosthaven, so you're used to it by now.
You'd be surprised how often I still try to cheat.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, well, I only say it because it's something that happens for people quite frequently.
Yeah. The number of times that I have forgotten that and just gone, yep. Right, I just want something with good initiative here, I think. Which I think is probably... Ooh. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
What am I looking at here?
Run over there very, very early and deliver a reasonable smack on the Night Demon.
I'm just going to draw all of them for now so I can figure out what the hell I'm doing. Right, one. Is there only one card I can take? Oh no, I can take this too.
I'm going to grab some water as well. I'll be right back, but I'm ready for the round.
Sure.
You can just press start round when you're ready.
Oh, we'll take focus. We'll take focus aggression. Oh, actually, Earth and Spice was our other card, right? So I should be at a really good initiative. So maybe we go for something that's got a high initiative but has some value to it. So maybe we take Nature's Gift. The muddle could be quite good here. Especially with the curse, yeah? We could try and force a curse here. You'll have to, excuse me, chat, because I am terrible with Tabletop Simulator. I fully admit it. I'm not very good with it. I don't know what half the buttons do. I'm trying.
So, sorry, I'm back. What happened now?
Nothing. I'm just taking probably a very long time to do something that's very, very easy.
Oh, so if you're trying to group up cards, click and drag, press G.
I just want to put them all in my discard right now.
Yeah, so just basically just like move. Here, I'll show you. So we just move them over here somewhere. Well, that also works. But anytime you're trying to get all the cards together, just click and drag to select all of them, and then press G, and they'll go together,
Nice.
and then just put them in here.
G for group.
Yep, exactly.
I like it.
Okay, here we go. So, by the way, M. Hernandez, buying off a Savas would have mixed results. Because obviously, on the one hand, they have strong abilities. On the other hand, every time they summon, you're going to be pretty unhappy with what's going on.
What kind of deck did I make, Silver? I kind of went for like a bit of a hybrid build. I wanted to play with some of the new cards. I was kind of very tempted to just go all in on some of the big kind of command cards again, but considering that was a playstyle that I've played a lot, I kind of decided to go with a couple of the slightly different cards. So a couple of the Invocations and Stone Sigil as well as one of the summons to play with.
Okay, so I'm up first. I'm going to use the bottom flanking strike as a move 5 to here. And I'm going to use the top of Sinister Opportunity. Both conditions are met, so this is an attack 5 with advantage.
Nice.
I'll go ahead and use my Poison Dagger and the Black Knife on this target. So this is going to be an attack 5, advantage, Poison Curse. Obviously no advantage. Nice.
Ooh, hello.
Okay, no regret taking those. So that's a Disarm, Poison, and a Curse.
Beautiful.
Okay, and you're up.
All right. Bear's going to have a go. Boop.
Oh, wow.
There's a +1.
Well, it's just dead.
Dead. Get one charge of our concentrated rage. All right, well, that kind of makes my turn. Well, I mean, I can heal you now, I suppose. I can move towards the door, which is probably fairly...
I still have my healing potion.
Do you?
I mean, the safeguard has some value on me, but I don't know. I'm not that worried about it. I think healing your bear is more valuable. I've got 4 healing for myself when I need it.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, then we'll heal the bear.
Okay.
Heal him up for 2. Another safeguard. And then I guess then I will use this move 5 to get myself right up to the door. I'm not going to open the door. That just seems probably a little bit ill-advised at this stage. But we're close. We're ready to go.
Okay. Well, that's the round.
Come on, MQ. You're doing great on TTS. You're proud of you. You're a real boy now. Thank you, Professor. I appreciate that.
TTS is a very valuable tool, but I can understand people not loving playing on it for sure. It is, I mean, certainly the difference between the feel of playing on digital and the feel of playing on TTS is just night and day in terms of how smooth of an experience it is. Digital is just so much nicer.
But once you learn like all the shortcuts and things, it's obviously quite widely applicable because you can play many different games on it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we play this and Spirit Island on it quite frequently because we have a friend from Neil that we play Spirit Island with. So
Yeah, I think I've only played a handful of games. I've played a few of the official mods as well, and they've been pretty good as well.
So are you long resting here?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. All right. So here we go. So I will just use backstab as a move 6. It kills me to leave all these coins behind, but I'm running a bit low on stamina here. Already basically down to, that's gonna be 5 cards after this rest. All right, and then I'll once again activate Seek to the Shadows, +1 in poison on my next 3 attacks. Okay, and then you get your long rest.
All right. Well, we're going to get the better move, and I think it's a pretty good idea to get the better move. And then, yeah, we'll heal our 2, and then we will, yes, nothing beneficial to refresh here.
Oh.
And what card should we get rid of then? Oh, of course, we're going to be against Sun Demons, aren't we?
It's a pretty safe assumption based on the way everything's played out in the scenario.
And Sun Demons have shield.
That's true.
Maybe it's time to say goodbye to nature's gift. Although, having said that, Earth and Spikes, although being very good, immobilizing Sun Demons, well, I suppose it has some value because they are melee, but...
Yeah, I mean, they've got, what, 2 range, they've got the heal. So yeah, it's about 50-50
yeah,
when it does do something, it's amazing though, right? Because obviously their AoE melee attacks are also really scary.
That's true. It does prevent them from maybe min-maxing their attack.
Yeah.
And it's 11 initiative. I mean, come on, let's not throw away an 11 initiative card. Okay, in that sense, then I think... Well, actually, I think I'll get rid of... Maybe I'll get rid of the invocation. Although, hang on, they have natural advantage. Yeah. So actually, it's really good with them.
That's true.
Although we will end up just ciphering through their curses.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they do have 1 shield, so while they have advantage, you'll be making attack 2s into 1 shield.
Yeah, let's get rid of this. I think it's fair to say that we've kind of rigged the deck, hopefully against them at this point in time. Yeah, but I mean, they're still going to probably do a good job of dodging them.
That's true.
But at least, hopefully, they don't dodge them with like +2s and +2s and things
That's
like
true.
That. Let's hope we get some like -2s, misses and curses, stuff like that.
I have a painful anecdote for you from my stream yesterday. I played Barrow Lair, and I had the unluckiest character I've ever had. So to begin with, I start the boss fight room with a lightning bolt, and my first 5 attack modifier flips are null, curse, +1, -2 null, and then that's okay. That's par for the course. Whatever. That's not really the thing that took it to the next level. So at the start of the round, I mean, at the end of, or basically when the monsters go, Bolt is sitting at 4 health, has shield 1 for the round, and all attacks targeting them have disadvantage for the round. There's an incoming attack 2 and an incoming attack 1. So against shield and disadvantage, which means that the effective damage should be like 1, right? Or maybe even less, maybe 0. I end up having to pitch a card. So, anything's possible with an advantage or disadvantage flip.
Do you still have, like, on Bolt, do you still have, like, Glass Hammer and, the kind of boss killing shenanigans?
Half of it, basically.
Okay.
Glass, yes. Resolute, no.
Okay.
But there is a way that you can loop Glass to sort of resemble what you could do before in a longer 3-turn combo that requires some self-healing. Okay, so I'm up first here. I will go ahead and open the door using the bottom of Duelist's Advance. So this will be a move 4. Okay, so we have 2 Sun Demons here. What are they up to? Okay, yeah, they are doing the AoE attack, except they don't have light, so they won't actually AoE attack here. So it is ranged attacks, though. All right. Okay. So 1, 2. I should probably try to kill the elite first.
I can immobilize one of them, so...
Well, their attack's at range 4.
Oh, are they? Oh, it's range 4.
Sorry, range 3. Range 3. But, so, yeah, even if I were to be here, yeah, it still wouldn't work. Because I can pull this here. I'd like to hit 1. I think it's fine. I'll deal with being hit. Yeah, so I'm going to go here, because this lets me finish on a coin. And then I get to do a pull 1 range 2. I'll just pull the elite Sun Demon to here. and then I use the top of gruesome advantage, so it's gonna be an attack 4 plus 1 and poison from Stick to the Shadows. So an attack 5 poison, or sorry, attack 7 poison plus 2, so 9. So we do 8 damage and poison it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just use all my healing now to be safe. So healing potion and amulet of life for 4 more health. Okay, and you're up.
All right, bam, 1, 2, 3. Then, okay. Sure, well, I can give you a bit. You're seeing as you're going to be tanking here, I can give you a heal anyway. Okay. So I'll move up into here. I will heal you for... Again, it makes sense to heal you for 1 versus healing the bear for 2 here, considering you're going to be taking imminent damage, I think, right?
Well, I think you can heal. Next turn, I can just run out of damage, like out of danger. So before the Sun Demon's can ever do anything. And this round, I mean, yeah, sure, they're making an attack 5 and attack 3 on me, but I can give the attack 5 disadvantage, so it won't even have advantage. I feel pretty confident that I'll survive this round, and I think I can avoid getting hit afterwards. So because the heal is so much more efficient on the bear, you're welcome to heal the bear.
Okay. It's not often that another player would turn down being healed, you know. It's very noble of you there. A lot of people would be like, yeah, heal me, please.
I really don't want... I mean, I'm committed to this bear's survival.
Okay. And then I guess Earth and Spikes will do the elite, considering that it is poisoned.
Okay. Well, that gives it disadvantage as well, which is nice. I don't even have to use the stud leather on that one. I can use it on the other.
So, yeah, we'll do that. And I guess I use the simple bow, because I don't know how often I'm actually even going to ranged attack. So, why not? Times 2.
Nice.
Ooh.
Well,
hang on a minute. Actually... Which one's more?
I think they're both the exact same.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, you certainly have really drawn at the 2 extremes quite frequently this scenario.
That's how I roll. You know, I'm boom or bust. No middle ground.
Okay, so that should be 5 total damage then, because that's going to be an attack 6 minus 1 for the shield, so 5, and this is immobilized. Okay. So then the Sun Demons go. So the elite can't move away to lose disadvantage because of the immobilized. So it will make an attack 5 with both advantage and disadvantage on me. So just attack 5 straight up. Hopefully a curse. There we go.
There it is. Now we'll start drawing them.
Yeah, and then the normal will attack me. I will go ahead and use my stud leather on this to give it disadvantage as well. No curse, but that's okay. So that's just an attack 3. I have 1 shield and minus 1, so I only take 1 damage.
Nice.
All right.
Easy. Ooh, I did. Yes, good. I got Earth.
I will short rest.
Unstoppable Beast is not going to happen, unfortunately. But I could play Monolith, although it feels a little bit like, yeah, by the time we end up playing it, they'll be dead. But sure, we'll play it anyway. Ooh. How about if I do this? So do you think you can... Well, yeah, I suppose the... How many charges is one? 1 charge on Concentrated Rage. I guess... Are you going to try and kill the elite? Or... Because I'm probably not going to perform an attack this round.
Okay.
Probably not.
Yeah, I can kill the elite then.
Sure.
I mean, well...
Well, yeah. I mean, the bear might draw like an absolute god. And it may well deal with it itself.
All right. Well, I'll give it a try and see where I go. Okay, so what are they up to? They're doing just the plus attacks, and they didn't make light last turn, so they won't self-heal. Okay. Sure. So in that case, I'll start by using the bottom gruesome advantage again. So this is the next time this round I attack an enemy that already has poison. I'll get to do an attack 2 ranged poison. Kind of fine with where I am for now. No reason to move just yet. So I'm going to use Duelist Advance Top. So this is going to be an attack 5 from poison plus 1 because I still have Stick to the Shadows active as usual. So that's going to be an attack 6 on this Sun Demon, which has 1 shield. So I just need a +0 or better. My deck is all +0 or better. So that does kill. And then I trigger the bottom of gruesome advantage, get to throw that poison dagger at something else. I still have my last charge of Stick to the Shadows up. So that's going to be an attack 3 poison targeting the normal Sun Demon. +1, so 4, so 3 damage, and poison.
Nice.
And then I have a move 2. Well, there's
feels like you've Like, it felt like you basically took about 2 full turns there.
Yeah,
on this combat
so,
character.
so what? It was an attack. I mean, part of it was having pre-set up a persistent non-loss, right? Which added 2. But yeah, so it was an attack 6 and then an attack 3, both with poison.
And a move.
Yeah, and a move. I mean, actually, there was a move 3, a move 3, and a move 2 there because, Silent Knife things. But yeah. All right. You're up.
All right. The bear goes. And so he's going to attack. Boop. Oh, see? That's it. That's all we do.
Yeah.
It's crits or misses, guys. That's all we get.
Okay.
Okay.
Give a concert rage.
It does. Yeah, kind of awkward, actually. I mean, maybe I'll just use the bottom now and do another heal. It's a little bit boring, but it's probably worth it because now that miss is gone as well, I've got a good chance of doing a little bit of damage here.
Makes sense.
And the poison as well. I was going to do it the other way because I thought I'd be the one to poison, but you got that poison already. Okay, so we use the bottom of Stone Sigil instead. Would have liked to have had the air there, but this is fine. So we'll just move up to the bear. Oop. And then we will do, if you are adjacent to the bear, perform an attack 1, range 3, pierce 1, and muddle. So we'll do that. So we'll draw. He's a +1 and a wound. So it ignores the shield, which is nice.
Yeah, 3 damage then, and a wound, and a muddle. Nice.
And then we will heal the bear for another 2. Why not?
Okay.
Keep the bear all nice and healed up.
Yep. It was never damaged. I don't even remember it being below half health.
So remember when the bear was at 1 health? No problem.
Okay, so the Sun Demon takes 1 damage from its wound and will make an attack 4, targeting the bear with neither advantage nor disadvantage because of the muddle. So that is 4 to the bear.
Yikes.
Okay. And that's the round.
Thank you for the follow, ABC. Hope you're doing well. It was never barely alive. I see what you did there.
All right. So I'm going to run up and hit it quite hard.
And
grab a coin.
Okay.
Well, or I guess or I'll leave it to you and I'll try to go grab another coin. We'll see. It depends what's going on. I guess for that reason, yeah. No, actually,
well, I've only got 2 cards, so I'll just play one of those 2 cards.
I'll short rest early, actually, because yeah, if I were playing for real here, I would short rest early, and I will. Hold on, there 1.
And try and get these coins.
I will not hit this turn, but I will at least get a coin here, and not the one here because I believe you can take care of that yourself. Okay, so I feel like you've got this. Yeah, you've got this. All right. So I'm going to use Duelist Advance and Backstab. So this is just going to be combined move 11.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, sure. To this coin here.
Very good.
I always knew I'd be back for these.
It's never a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, Bear's going to attack. Yep.
Too bad it wasn't the concentrated rage attack, but yeah. So this is still an attack 6, so -1 for the shield, so 5. So that does put it to dead.
If I don't have to shuffle my deck every round, are you even really playing Gloomhaven? All right. Well, I mean, I guess we could either, like, if we were playing, we probably wouldn't end it here. I'd probably just run and get a coin and kind of.
Well, the Sun Demon dies on its turn anyway.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I guess we may as well get the XP then from Unstoppable Beast. So we'll do another attack. Oh, a heal. And yeah.
So that was Concentrated Rage attack too. So what is the math on this one total?
So that's going to be 3 plus 4, 10 plus the poison, 11.
Okay.
With the shield 10.
So 10.
So 10.
Right.
Respectable. Respectable attack. 10. It's fine.
And you got a coin.
And I got a coin.
All right. Well, I regret to inform you that I failed by your standards. I only picked up 9. You said I had to get 10. In my defense, you killed it 1 round too soon.
It was that wound draw and the ×2 draws. You see, it's just you can't account for it.
Yep.
Wow.
2 turns left.
Still 9 coins.
This.
I picked up a respectable 4 as a character who traditionally does never move. In the previous version, picking up 4 coins, it's not too bad. I didn't even play the loot card as well.
That's true.
But I think if I was probably playing a lower level, I think I would definitely be playing that the loot card.
So the loot card is actually very good. I mean, you weren't doing that many sigils, but so it's actually really important for the sigils too, because so the catch with the sigils, right, is that they can trigger once per round. But obviously the round you activate them, they typically don't trigger because the bearer does its default attack beforehand. That being said, obviously if you activate a sigil and then use this bottom, then you can immediately trigger not sigil, I'm saying sigil, invocation. Yeah, invocations. So this would allow you to to activate Invocation of Domination and then to get it immediately. But yes, this would have been very good for this scenario as well.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean,
you couldn't know, but yeah.
Yeah, but there was also a level of I was like, I gotta try and squeeze playing at level 5 with all new stuff, trying to squeeze that hand size. I mean, 10 was it always 10 on this character?
Yep, it was always 10.
It was always 10.
See, it's easy to forget the hand sizes we had before because we had so many less exciting cards. Let's just put it that way. There were, I mean, I've even seen you talk about this before, but basically in Gloomhaven First Edition, it was often like choosing your hand was less about like, okay, how do I do my build, or what are the cards I want to play with? It was more about like, okay, this is the tier list of cards. These are the S tier cards. Okay, those go in. These are the A tier cards. Okay, those go in. And then just going down the list and be like, okay, well, these are the least good cards. Okay, those go out.
Yeah, there was definitely, and in Frosthaven as well, you have this where you have a lot more like variance between scenarios about which cards will work well against the scenario objective or the enemies in the scenario. There's a lot more of the X cards actually being like sideboard-esque cards or specific cards for a type of build that you might want to be playing on that character, rather than them being maybe so situational that they were just like, no, never even going to consider them. So it feels like your pool of cards it's much more difficult to like choose just what you want to take, and you can't always take it for granted that these are going to be the 10 that I'm going to take every single scenario without any changes. There is potential there to do some changes. How many concentration range did we get off? 4? Yeah, it's been about 4, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was the last one there was kind of gratuitous. The thing is dead regardless, but yes, technically 4.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think they all landed at awkward times for the most part for me. I don't think I had, maybe one of those 4 was actually in a great time, but I say one of them was definitely just to kill off the cultist who was basically dead anyway. So that one as well.
There were 2 total that were useful, right? So the one where you killed the corpse in the very beginning that was at 8 health, that was a concentrated rage one, and then second one that was useful, which is actually the third one, was just against the elite night demon when you just flipped a -1 and just did 4 damage, getting it lower.
Yeah. So not a bad showing at all, considering that I didn't we didn't try and like really play into it by trying to trigger it multiple times, or for example the enemies didn't have retaliate, so we didn't get those extra triggers or anything like that. So actually not too bad at all, really.
Yeah, so what did you think with the new Wild Fury for the first time?
Yeah, it was fun. It feels a lot more the one thing that I noticed straight away that felt a lot more interesting was the elements. Because before, the elements were there with the character, but of course if you weren't really playing like the active tyrant build where you were really trying to use them, then you just didn't really care about them. They didn't really have any other effects on the character. But here I kind of always had cards that could generate and use them in good and useful ways at all times. So it felt much more like elements were a bigger part of the character, and also that we weren't just defaulting to quote unquote good cards where for example you go, okay, this card's got disarm written on it, this card's got this written on it, and okay, we're just going to be taking these cards, because like that's the other thing with the active build. The active build was basically like, you just take the good attack cards, like, or the good control cards, and that's how you would play it. So it felt a lot more like I was actually kind of doing stuff, as well as the bear felt a lot more kind of interesting, trying to keep them alive with the kind of extra heals and things. This is so big, this thick skull perk. Oh my god,
It
that
definitely
is.
saved you 2 cards in this
Oh,
scenario.
God. It's first perk, everybody. Don't sleep on this perk. This is first perk every time. It's got to be.
It is pretty frequently first perk for me as well. But all right, I'll put it like this: sometimes there are perks which might be a bit better than other perks, right? And in my opinion, this is kind of one of them. But because it's sort of a necessary quality of life thing for a character, you're like, okay, maybe they're allowed a pushed perk because this is just, yeah, I mean, because the bear needs a helmet.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it solves one of the most frustrating things I think about playing this character previously, which is that if you just get unlucky fairly early on and it dies out of nowhere, you kind of spend the rest of the scenario with a handful of useless cards if you've taken all of the command cards, and that's the other kind of flip side to the character. You've got to, if you do that, it's a bit of a problem. So I like the way as well that this character feels a little bit more of a hybrid character. That feels a bit more kind of on point. I don't see why I actually think I preferred to play that way rather than going all in, because I sort of left behind a lot of the double command cards, which a lot of them do seem very good. So you can still definitely play that play style if you want. It's clearly here and available. But to me, moving around a little bit more, having those kind of heals, but they were targeted heals, so I had to kind of stay within range of the bear and move around with the bear, just felt a little bit more rewarding. And yeah, doesn't feel like you're playing half a character. Feels like you're playing a full character.
Yeah, and you drew that modifier, I think, 3 times in the scenario. The one that's basically a +3 if you're within range 4 of the bear, which, yeah, is another powerful incentive for trying to do this.
Well, this was the funny thing, as I actually, when you sort of sent me over the cards earlier and said, okay, have a little look and choose what you're going to do, I actually chose my perks first. So I went straight to the perks and just said, okay, wait, what's going on with the perks? Because the perks have been so interesting to me. On all of the characters that we've reviewed, because they've all kind of had nice quality of life, and these kind of bottom 3 perks on every character that's been, yeah, your character's going to function in a slightly different way, you're going to get a bonus for something. So I was looking for that, and obviously I saw this one and I thought, great, right, we'll get both of these, and then we'll just kind of like, we'll get the healing as well, because that's always going to be good. And then we'll kind of focus a little bit more on both us and the bear attacking. And so hopefully we can both kind of get benefit as long as I keep myself within range. And I guess it helped as well that this scenario is quite compact, where nothing's really moving much away from this center tile. So I was able to keep well within range the whole scenario. Yeah, no, it was really good. And say the silent knife, to me, looks like you were doing some pretty outrageous things.
Yeah, I mean, Silent Knife is pretty strong. I mean, certainly by level 5, also quite strong. Let's grab up the things. Yeah, I mean, I was playing around with the poison stuff a little bit more. I mean, I struggled a little bit more in the very beginning when we had the corpses, because, yeah, all the kind of poison shenanigans didn't really work there because the poison immunity. But yeah, I'd taken this to combo with this, reasonable amount. Yeah, I'm just otherwise doing big attacks, Silent Knife things. I mean, the class basically plays very similarly in many regards to how it did before, which is just it basically moves and does damage. And when that's the only thing you do, yeah, I mean, as a 9-card class, you do quite a bit of it, especially by this point, level 5, having 8 cards or 8 perks in my modifier deck. Yeah, it means quite a lot of damage. So
yeah, the perks seem very good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the choices I made here. I didn't go too greedy. Like, I mean, I still took this because I'm only human, but I didn't. I almost entirely did melee attacks. So certainly the melee coin attack modifiers would have theoretically worked for me. But I made the safe choice. Took the disarm modifiers, which ended up mattering twice in this scenario. I think with a Wild Fury in the party, as we saw here, the bear is liable to get smacked around quite a bit and just randomly draw the disarms. Even if, historically an additive perk is not something that people would be that excited to take over replacement perks, but obviously disarm is strong enough, especially in this perk.
Well, I guess, I mean, I don't know if there's too many of these just strict removes anymore. Is this fairly quite a unique perk?
It's quite rare to have this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we have probably about 4 classes in the game, I think, that have the remove 2/1s, but certainly I think this might be the only class in the game. Maybe there's one more that has 2 remove perks.
Yeah. Because, of course, these additive ones kind of go up in value when you can do this kind of thing.
That's true. That's true, which is definitely not something that we allow to happen very often anymore. But, This was one of the identities of the Scoundrel, and this is something we've kept with the Silent Knight, which is having a very strong, consistent attack modifier deck. So yeah.
Oh, gotta be a glass cannon, really. Run around and
Yeah.
be a glass cannon.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll say this. I mean, it's really interesting. So we did this thing, Gloom Draft, on the playtesting server, where we basically had like five parties, and they're in order drafting, sort of like patisserie draft, like A, B, C, D, E, and then back up, back down again, and trying to make the best parties possible. And so this class was actually undrafted. This is one of the two classes that didn't get picked up by anyone. Which is funny because I think it's a really intrinsically strong class, but yeah, it's just so vanilla in what it does, in the sense of like it's really good initiatives, really good damage, and that's kind of. And we tried to bring that up a little bit more in the second edition, giving more variety to the ways that you deal damage, with a bit more of the poison stuff, a bit more of the loot stuff. But yeah, I mean, at its core, it functions very similarly to before, and it's just very good at what it does.
Well, it's interesting because we actually, in my Monday stream, we were talking a bit about Gloom Draft. And I had a question, and you I think you had left because you were kind of like in my chat for a little while on Monday. Okay. I think you'd already left. The question was, because we used to like do the actual card draft, right? You would draft.
So for Roguehaven.
Yeah, Roguehaven. Sorry. Yeah. So for that, where does practical plans sit? Because like we were talking about, original practical plans, about it's like the definition of just like everything. Like it just, it's not going to be bad on any character at any point. So how high a pick is practical plans? Aside from like if you're looking down at some kind of broken, I guess there's some cards I'm saying.
That's the thing, it's difficult for me to remember. So basically for Roguehaven, I've broken the cards up into effectively like 6 tiers of cards. Which was like the chaff, which is kind of the cards you get to start with, and then tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, which is the cards you had to buy that unlock throughout the campaign and were progressively more expensive. And I think practical plans would have been just tier 2.
Okay.
Mostly because tier 5 is basically I don't know. I mean, I don't want to do spoilers like mentioned, but basically like imagine something that you could take from one class and put somewhere else, like reviving. Actually, I think reviving Ether's not even there, but the Mind's Weakness, for example.
Yeah.
Something like that, where if any class can have +2 on all their attacks, it's just insane. Or like. If there were other class in the game that put out like persistent buffs that affected the entire party, imagine a party that could have 4 of these, like on each character at a time. So that's the sort of tier 5 stuff. And then tier 4s have like a lot of your non-loss executes and a lot of the really good CC. And then tier 3 was kind of like CC and then like the really high numbers. So practical plans, I mean, is very good, but it was, obviously in the grand scheme of things a bit lower. But yeah, I mean, practical plans would be something you would always be happy to pick up. Like it would certainly be a high pick because anytime you would open a pack and practical plans would be in it, I mean, you can never go wrong with it, right?
Right. The other cards have to beat practical plans at that point. Like it's
exactly.
the point. Like you've got to be doing more than 5 damage, or you've got to be doing more than move 5, or an effect that has a greater value of some kind.
So I see a couple questions. So the minimum deck size, I don't know that I want to say we generally aim for like 16 to be the minimum that you could go down to. I mean, actually, Bruiser can technically go down to 16 terminals because I think they have two different perks that replace with rollings. So you could go down to even 16 there. But yeah, we generally try to aim with 16 being the minimum. We don't want to have like the 12 card decks that the Gloomhaven First Edition had. But it kind of depends. Sorry, continue. I just wanted to answer.
No. That's good. How many coins did the Silent Knife end with? Quite the stack. 9. 9 is how much it ended with there, which is pretty decent, but obviously probably would have gotten more if the scenario had gone on a little bit longer, or you had a loot card, for example.
Yeah, I didn't bring a single loot card to the scenario in my defense, but you could see this as sort of like the trade-off, right? I took this knife juggling perk to pick up some extra coin while in town, and so because I'm getting an extra coin in town, I was able to not have to justify bringing a loot card into the scenario here, and could more easily just pick up, some gold naturally without actually looting. But that being said, I was a little bit concerned about the difficulty of this scenario because the first room would be so hard for Wild Fury. It was a good scenario because I wanted to. I mean, this is pretty early on, so it's not really a spoiler. It's a scenario that changed a reasonable amount from the previous version, so I kind of wanted to play it. But I was thinking, okay, well, +1 level, 3 living corpses in the center. Wild Fury Bear is gonna have to run into the center of that just unavoidably. So it's gonna be pretty hard. So I was like, all right, I'll try to be as safe as possible. Pick the the most effective cards possible. So I didn't actually bring a loot. But yeah, if I were playing in a campaign, I probably would have had a loot, and then I would have had, I would say 12 coins here because I would have been able to like grab one of these piles up.
Yeah. I say I had a respectable 4, which isn't too bad on a beast tyrant.
Yeah.
I mean, without this is going to be an interesting question. Without spoiling too much, obviously the original problem that this class had a little bit was that, you know, itemization was maybe a bit tricky if you were going down that route. Is there more items that maybe would be a little bit more kind of like suited to characters who have that kind of more kind of way, you know, summoning play style? Because, you know, that was always kind of like, I mean, I guess you would use maybe some of the gold on enhancements instead. You know, that's kind of like maybe more of an active consideration. But yeah, I guess like itemization for a character like this was always kind of a little bit like sketch at times, because you a lot of the items, especially early on, wouldn't be able to affect a summon.
Yes, so certainly there are a lot more now. You know, we're kind of just not using these in these playtests because almost all those items are going to be. I mean, so there are a number of ways to ensure that how to phrase this differently, how to frame this a little bit differently. So basically, most of the summoning classes in the game are classes that people will not play as starters, but could be playing by the time they've retired the first character, right? Technically, Mind Thief is also a starter, but the summoning build is pretty minor there. You know, it is what it is, and you're still a Mind Thief. Like, you can still use other items and be effective, even if you don't have like summon dedicated items as a Mind Thief, because you still have to, you know, run into melee and attack in order to do the Mind Thief things. So the goal is then to make sure that by the time people are playing their first locked class, that they have access to a reasonable number of summoner items, I should say. And so you can kind of say, okay, well, prosperity 2, they're going to be there by the time they do that. But other than that, I mean, they're not really necessarily be higher prosperity, maybe 3 at most. So yeah, the other way you do this is being like, okay, what are the scenarios that they're likely to have played in the first 12 in the campaign? And so we put a reasonable number of items that will help summoners there. But obviously we don't want to spoil those, because
Of course.
this is going to kind of come from unlocks. But there's definitely a fair amount more. I will say that the concentrated rage, like the full concentrated rage, never move the Wild Fury build is going to have the least amount of choice, because, you know, let's give an example of something. Let's say we have an item that grants a summon something. Okay, so technically the Warden's Robes here, those don't grant, those work no matter what. But if I had, like, you know, a chest item that granted to summon shield, or a hand item that granted to summon move, something like that, well, grant requires line of sight, right? So ultimately, if the bear keeps running through a scenario and I stand in the very first room, at some point, even items like that are going to cease to be as effective, because I don't even have line of sight to the bear anymore. So this build is going to have the most difficulty finding items, although there are still a few in the game. But otherwise, the sort of build that you did will have plenty of items to choose from.
Yeah. And I guess you still have, well, I mean, the traditional items occasionally were things like wands, you know, elemental wands and things like that, were also kind of fairly usable items on a character like this with quite early initiative, that you could at least kind of grant stuff for your buddies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the ability to certainly I guess I shouldn't. So the wands are, I mean, well, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
The wands are still in the game, but they're a bit different now. Okay. They no longer just create elements; they actually consume an element to create an element.
Okay.
So, but these are actually still quite useful for this character, because there's a lot of times that you set up an element to do an invocation or a sigil, and then, as you saw multiple times in this scenario, things just don't quite work out in a way that you actually want to do that. And, you know, obviously, a big part of the second edition of Gloomhaven is having a lot of, like, having less dead actions, basically, than in the first edition. You know, in first edition, there were a fair number of dead actions. Many times you bring a card for just one half. But now that all the halves are good, it's much more realistic to pivot. But when you pivot out of doing an invocation or a sigil for whatever reason, if that element goes away, and then, like, in the way that you pivoted it doesn't create an element, like this happened to you once where you had to run the bear away, right? And when you ran the bear away, you weren't going to make an element there, or weren't going to remake Earth. So being able to even just, like, cash in. I mean, here you have the circle of elements as well, because fortunately, you know, we were working with the demons, so they're helping us out. But this sort of effect is still very useful for this class.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely, I've noticed it a lot on a couple of cards before. So I think, like, the worst offenders were always the very early initiative cards that had maybe very impactful top actions. You know, I'm thinking Unstable Upheaval here. And essentially you'd have, you know, the bottom action would be undesirable, but always basically uses his default move too. So I think it's, like, interesting now that I think pretty much all of the cards that I've seen where you may have a situation like that. Whereas before it was kind of like, well, you take this card because the initiative is great and you can use it as a default move too. It feels like every bottom action in particular has sort of improved from a default move too, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, definitely, you're right. It was a real strategy in the first edition of Gloomhaven to take cards for default move twos because of initiative, and maybe have a top action as well. That's fortunately something we don't expect people to have to really do anymore.
No.
Which isn't to say that I mean, even on the Silent Knife, I used a couple default moves in the scenario, so. Not that you never do that, but it's just you're not really taking cards like you said for that reason.
Yeah, it's like you may occasionally filter them in here and there, or because perhaps the enemies flip abilities that you weren't expecting. So now actually I do need to use this as a default move, or something like that, or maybe use as a default attack too because whatever's happened, the enemies sort of scuppered your plans a bit for whatever reason. But yeah, like I guess the intent was never to be like. Yeah, I'm always playing this as default move too. 80% of the time until the time where I choose to burn the top action.
Yep. No, yeah, definitely not much of that anymore.
Yeah.
So other hands to answer your questions, are there any trap placing cards? Yeah, there are. I mean, if you checked out the Tinker preview, which Mandatory Quest actually reviewed, you'll see that, for example, the Tinker has a minor trap sub theme. We didn't go too ham on anything trap related in the first edition of Gloomhaven. For spoiler reasons, is basically the best way that I can phrase that.
Yeah. Although the level the Tinkerer has, I think they didn't have a very clean level 1 trap kind of single turn activator, but now they do. They've now got like a bottom trap action, and they've got hook gun still, which is I think unchanged. So you've now got that 1 turn trap activation, which is nice.
Yeah, and then at level 2, you pick up the ability to even do like the top track activation. I mean, that's a little bit more difficult because you've got the move push at range after you place the trap, which requires kind of maneuvering around someone, but still theoretically possible. So you can do like 4 direct damage and muddle with the top trap, and then once you get like the higher level traps, especially like level 401, it becomes very easy to put enemies into them a single turn.
Well, I always thought like I mean, obviously the crowd control elements of Gloomhaven have kind of been balanced quite heavily in Frosthaven, and now in second edition you guys are doing it as well. Although I think that you still get some very nice actions, right? That still exist in the game. But I've also thought the traps and movement, kind of forced movement abilities or movement impairment, if you like, as well. Those kinds of abilities have sort of filled the gap a little bit. Whereas before we would always go, that's fine, just stun that enemy or disarm that enemy, or forget about it. Now there's a lot more kind of trying to play around with trap placements, obstacle placements, things like that to try and actually kind of outmaneuver the enemy a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anything, this is kind of a win for you in Gloomhaven Second Edition because your favorite class, the Cragheart, I mean, even though they've gotten a minor nerf to Rock Slide, is basically even better than before, because before everyone had all these non-loss CC, and the Cragheart was like, okay, what am I, chopped liver? But now, Cragheart's just the top of the barrel in terms of control.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, it's, I think me playing through Frosthaven right now, you get a big appreciation of that once you have played a good amount of Frosthaven, because, at first you're kind of like, where have all my crowd control abilities gone? And you kind of scrabble around for a few scenarios trying to figure it out. And then once you kind of go, okay, right, this is how I'm supposed to be doing this now. And you kind of get into the tempo of it, and you kind of settle into a nice kind of rhythm, and it's more tactical. I think it's easier to be like, it's more enjoyable to have to figure that puzzle out than it is to just, I play a low value disarm card or stun card. Like
agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Any last questions before I take off?
Not for me. Anyone in chat? Anyone got any pressing questions? Now's your chance.
Yep. So I guess it was when you were planning on doing a Wild Fury preview still today. Is that it?
Yeah, I probably won't do it today because of time constraints. So I'll be doing a stream on Friday. So we'll do like a bit of a recap of the Wild Fury on Friday on my stream.
Okay.
So we'll go through all of the cards. I think it's up to 5, or I have up to 9. I'm not quite sure what you sent me. I'm not sure if I've got all the way up to 9. You might have given me all the way up to 9,
No, 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 I didn't do that. But who knows what's there?
Well, we will be doing that on Friday, everyone. So, and it'll be good because now I've had an actual opportunity to play the class a little bit, which is nice. It's only one scenario, so you can't draw loads of conclusions, but we definitely managed to get a bit of a sense of how it will feel as well, which is always good. So that's what we're doing on Friday.
Oh, sorry, Adler hands. Double losses are still a thing, although I think exclusively with at least one persistent loss, typically. Although I think actually typically with exclusively 2 persistent losses. But yeah, otherwise we didn't do like the original double loss stuff.
And I guess as well, initiative wise, they've been placed in like in an area where you're not going to be playing the card for the initiative.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, many times I guess they'll have a late initiative because a lot of like powerful losses inherently just get a late initiatives in Gloomhaven as sort of like a I don't know, sign of their effectiveness or sign of their power. So if you were really desperate for like your third late initiative, then yeah, maybe you would use it as a move too for that. But I don't think so. It's certainly never fast initiatives or something like that. No.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Otherwise, well, thank you for having me on. It was fun to play another scenario with you.
No, yeah, always fun, and thank you so much again for showing us second edition and more new stuff. It's really great, and it's looking really good. And I know that me and a lot of everyone thanks you for all your hard work on second edition. And it's been really great learning more about it over these last kind of couple of weeks, and really getting to take a look at it and getting to see more. And I think the scope of it is pretty nuts, really, when you actually start to really get into the bones of it, and get to see it. Because I think from this scenario that we played today, I mean, both characters were, aside from a couple of cards being reasonably similar, the classes are very changed, and also the scenario was changed, and also our items were different than what items that you would necessarily have, like warden's robes, not a thing in first edition. Neither is the bow. So there's a lot of things here that is very changed. So it's always good to get to see it all.
Yeah, certainly. We've changed quite a lot. I mean, Silent Knife is definitely going to be on the low end of the spectrum in terms of changes. As most people felt, this class was pretty balanced, and its niche was pretty well defined, so we're pretty happy to keep that. But yeah, definitely. And also on Friday, we'll be showing off. We'll be doing the preview for Three Spheres, which will be the last lock class, and is one of the 3 or 4 most changed classes in second edition. So however much classes have seemed to be changed up until now, this one has changed quite a lot more.
Yeah, at the moment I would say, like, we reviewed Brute on Monday. Brute to me so far felt like the least changed, or that at least I've reviewed. And then I would say that Angry Face was probably the most changed that I've reviewed so far. That's kind of like my current spectrum. Although saying that, I feel like Wild Fury seems like it's maybe a little bit of a step under Angry Face, because actually Angry Face has had quite a substantial change in one of the builds, which is completely new to the character.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think that's a pretty reasonable way of looking at it. I would say that Three Spears, it's going to be a lot more than Angry Face. Like, Angry Face, without going into spoilers, part of the way the class plays is going to feel very, very similar to the way it did before. That's the thing you do. And then, then there's this other thing you can do that basically didn't exist before, which is going to feel very different. And so that's kind of the new is like, so it's like, okay, so like half the class is new, which is quite a lot. Three Spheres is basically all new, is the best way to put it. I mean, all right, so I've mentioned this quote before in a written or Ask Me Anything somewhere, but basically at some point in the process of when we were working on classes, and so Three Spheres was a bit later along, and it was the first one we did of the ones where we really had made overwhelming substantial changes. And so we did a playtest with Isaac. This was the first time he'd seen it. And so we were kind of like, oh, is this too much? Did we go too far? Have we done too much? Because we didn't know. And I mean, ultimately we more or less had the final say on anything, but we still didn't want to upset him with the way like what we'd done to his baby, basically.
Yeah.
And and he played it, had a lot of fun, and afterwards like, oh, okay, what did you think? And he was like, well, it basically, and so essentially imagine every time here, and so this is just like a sidebar. Imagine chat, and every time here I say Three Spears, I'm actually saying the name of the class. But basically, So he said, yeah, 3 spears feels a lot more like a 3 spears than it ever did before. And that was honestly like, I was like, oh, thank God. So basically to say that everything we did to change this class was in service of the idea that, that Isaac had with this class to make it function the way everyone kind of wanted it to function. So it's really different, but at the same time, it's very similar to what it was before at its core.
Yeah, and of course, you've now got the experience, the hindsight, the time, and the resources to be able to, I guess, make things a little bit more as they were maybe intended originally, but there were limitations maybe where things couldn't be done, or was time limitations, everything, all the kinds of limitations that could be in play there.
Yeah,
it's thematic. Hernandez says it's thematic. Yeah, that's the idea. I think that's true of all of the classes. I think with the reworks, I think all of the class reworks to me have felt more thematic. Like
this one is definitely more thematic than it was before. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, I mean that's fair, and that's that's something we really wanted to pay attention to, because that was sort of the best way we could incorporate Isaac's design, because Isaac is a really excellent thematic designer, and so being able to make sure that we maintained like the themes that he put in the classes, and even emphasize them as much as possible, because I mean that's part of a way of looking at it, right? Which is that in many cases we had a lot of actions that needed to be replaced or reworked, right? Because a lot of what changing these classes isn't necessarily like making a new class. It's just about like, okay, well, there's all these actions that didn't work out. Like, okay, so in the case of Silent Knife, right? As I even said in the preview, it's not like the class was fine before, more or less. It's just it was fine, but you basically only had one choice at each level up, right?
Yeah.
More or less. Like, and those cards were good, and so you took them and you were effective. But yeah, so here, if what we're doing is we're just like taking all those other cards, well, the cards already have names and the class already has the theme. So if we have to make these new actions, well, why don't we make those based off of like the name and the theme that's already there? So yeah, this basically just led to doubling down on the theme, because theoretically that was there before. It's just, maybe people never really played with the cards that said these things, and they're like, oh my God, this is, this fits the theme really well. Well, it was there before. It's just, no one really ever used that action, so no one knew that card existed. Someone actually said that about the Wild Fury sigils, right? On the subreddit, someone had said,
I think I've heard this comment.
This is a really cool addition. And I was like, oh, those were actually there before. We just kind of reworked them. And they're like, oh, wow, I guess I didn't really know the class very well. I didn't play it myself. It's just my friend who played it, so I didn't know. And then Dwarf responded by saying, don't worry, even people who played the class didn't know that those were there.
Yeah, they were kind of a little bit of the butt of the joke for the Beast Tyrant a lot of times. Yeah, they just... I think... summons were like an area of the game in general that has always been very difficult. I think incredibly difficult to balance. They're so... Because, Gloomhaven doesn't deal in half numbers. There's no like, okay, well, we have a die roll, so we could maybe change the dice that you roll when you resolve a movement or an attack or something to kind of tweak those numbers to get an average number that's somewhere between this and this. You either go with 1, 2, 3, it's sort of like binary in terms of the number increments, that a summon can feel underwhelming at like 2 movement, but broken at like 3 movement or something like that. Like it's to that level. The summons have always been, and I think they're one of the areas that I definitely have noticed that the game has improved massively in like since basically, well, there were no summons in Jaws of the Lion, but from that point onwards with Frosthaven and now into this, all of the summons feel like, okay, we've kind of found the groove for summons. We kind of know what, if that does that kind of effect, that needs to be replayable, or that needs to be or it needs to cost something to play it, or it needs something like or a downside to it. It's strong, but it has a bit of a downside you have to be careful of, or something like that, which I think is really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we sort of butt up against all the time when working on, especially rebalancing Gloomhaven, right? So obviously, one of the biggest mandate at the end of the day is always to make sure that everything's fun. Balance does come second, but obviously, this being the second edition of something, there's a much higher standard for balance than there would be in the first edition of something, right? Because obviously we need to rework the things that weren't balanced before to a reasonable degree. And yeah, the fact that the numbers are so, the increments are so small, The difference between attack 4 and attack 5 is it's really big, and
Mm.
there's nothing in between. So yeah, that's something we struggle with a lot as well, and kind of have to do the best we can. And that's why it's good that muddle exists, because muddle is like a 0.5. You're like, okay, this can't be an attack 4. It can be an attack 3 muddle, however.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you're like, oh, but muddle isn't very great. And they're like, yes, but now you don't have an iron helmet anymore. Muddle's a little bit better.
Mm.
But safeguard exists on monsters. Muddle is a little bit better. So all this in service of the 0.5.
Yeah, and as well the use of Pierce as well. I love the new, more prolific use of Pierce. I always felt like Pierce was more of an underutilized effect in the game, when actually it's very beneficial to players, and especially on things like summons and things, just to kind of keep those some of those like level 1 maybe slightly weaker attacks around just that little bit longer, because they scale into that kind of mid game a little bit more, or against those enemies that occasionally have a shield card or something like that, a shield ability.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen you mention this before, and you're right. Yeah, just having Pierce 1 just makes something feel like it scales better, right? You just feel like, okay, well, I'm not going to eventually cut this. But also, yeah, in general, we've just added more Pierce than was in the first edition, and you've already seen this in Frosthaven as well, which is that, in the first edition of Gloomhaven, this was sort of like a weakness that was by design baked into some classes, bad at dealing with shield. Well, it turns out that's just not a very fun weakness, because, like, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do in a scenario is you're trying to like progress through the scenario. And if your party, for whatever reason, doesn't have good tools for dealing with a shielded enemy, and you're all just sitting there attacking an enemy with 3 shield, and you just have to sit there flipping until you get enough +1s and +2s to kill it. Ooh, yeah, like that's not something most people enjoy doing. So at the end of the day, we kind of just have worked to mostly give most classes a reasonable number of different tools for dealing with shielded enemies, more so than existed in first edition. But again, this is also just very similar to Frosthaven. This is actually a response to playtesting in Frosthaven, where at some point playtesters started jokingly calling Frosthaven Shieldhaven because of the amount of shield and the difficulty of dealing with it, which led to kind of a wide scale push to more Pierce.
That's a fun little fact there. Shieldhaven, I like it.
Yeah, it was an inside joke about Frosthaven, was that there was so much shield and classes didn't have the tools to deal with it. And then at some point, there was like a pass that added a fair amount of Pierce and anti-shield tools. And this is even for people outside on the outside. We saw this with like the Bone Shaper, when the bottom of the Living Spirits summon thing got the thing where if a summon dies, you deal 2 direct damage, which was sort of like the Bone Shaper's way of dealing this, etc.
Yeah. No, and I think it's a very kind of smart way to sidestep and still feel like you are kind of figuring out the puzzle as a player, rather than, like you said, kind of like the damage sponge approach of, well, this will go down eventually if all 4 of us attack it. Okay. And I guess the only other thing, like in terms of like monsters as well, like this is very interesting. Immunities on regular monsters. Something that I've sort of spoken about a little bit on my channel before is, if we were to rework Gloomhaven monsters like as an additional difficulty kind of mod, one of the first things I would do to make enemies just a little bit more difficult would be to add things like immunities to them. Because, like, I mean, thematically, obviously, this makes total sense. Like, how could you poison? Like, it's a walking pile of poison. Like, why would it not want to be poisoned? So thematically, it makes total sense. But, I also feel like adding stuff like this can also kind of make a couple of enemies a little bit trickier to deal with.
Yeah, I think that mixing in a few of these, and we have these now on like the stone constructs, previously stone golems, and then the bears as well, which obviously are immune to disarm because they have the right to bear arms. But yeah, mixing in a little bit of this and having them kind of spaced out, I think, is quite interesting. The big problem, and so people saw this in Frosthaven, and I kind of agree with criticisms of this a little bit, is that basically there's like that one track of the campaign, I don't know if you've done that, involving specific all enemies of the same type, basically. And all of these have immunities of one of the 2 types, and so if you're playing a class during that stretch of the campaign who really relies on one of those 2 conditions to be able to function,
I think that happened to me, actually.
This can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
And so basically, yeah, what you want to do is like, okay, it's fine to have like living corpses with this poison immunity, but you just want to make sure that living corpses aren't going to be in a scenario with 3 other monsters that also have different immunities, because then that's going to create a situation where some sort of class can feel like, okay, well, my game is a lot less effective. But having a few of these mixed around, sprinkled into scenarios so that, yeah, in this case, I was trying to focus on poison a fair amount, but then even in the first room, I was like, okay, I bypass the corpses straight to the cultists, because then there's still things that I can kill.
Yeah, no, which totally makes sense. No, I think it's a nice little addition. I mean, in terms of other pretty much every enemy has changed, right? Can night demons still go invisible? Is that still a thing?
They can.
They can.
So just so we're clear for everyone watching, the stats for monsters change does include obviously things that were updated in Frosthaven, because we're basically talking about the difference between the first edition and the second edition. So any monster that was in Frosthaven is going to have the exact same everything that it had in Frosthaven, with the exception of if there was a negative or if there was a condition that it had in Frosthaven which doesn't exist in Gloomhaven Second Edition. But yeah, so night demons, as per the Frosthaven update, they have the invisible, but it's 37 now instead of, I think it was 9 before. Which, yeah, is a really nice change, because that was so frustrating. It was such a bad mechanic. Well, I don't say bad mechanic. It was a frustrating mechanic. So many classes in the game had just nothing they could do about it. The night demon makes dark, and you're just like, okay, I hope next turn it doesn't go and visit 9, because if it does, we can't do anything around.
I think night demons were voted the most hated enemy type, weren't they? I think.
That's very possible. Night demons have always been my S tier demons.
Yeah. They're just
even with this, but
well, the innate disadvantage makes them just incredibly awkward to deal with, like when mixed with any other, type of enemy that might give you curse or anything like that. God forbid night demons and imps together.
Oh yeah, which happens quite a lot as it turns out. But yeah, night demons have it all going for them though, right? They have reasonable health pools, the innate disadvantage, which is very frustrating, high movement, high damage, excellent initiatives, and then they can also go invis. They're just they're still, even with this nerf, which was a very good nerf, they're still the S tier of demons for sure.
Yeah.
Just to answer one thing that I'd seen before though, to get back to, which was that someone said Three Spears is more reworked than Eclipse. That's not true. I was just saying that Three Spears was the most reworked of the classes that we're going to show off during the campaign. So Three Spears will be the last locked class that we show. And obviously the locked classes in many cases were reworked more than starters. But Eclipse is actually the most reworked class in the game. So Eclipse is basically... so it's difficult to... But Eclipse is basically brand new. And the biggest reason for this, I guess... Which classes have you not unlocked in Frosthaven?
Have I now unlocked?
Have you not unlocked? Which class symbols have you not unlocked? Do you know off the top of your head?
Drill.
Okay.
Coral.
Okay. So you have unlocked...
Shackles.
Okay. Oh, really? We've already unlocked Shackles. We're not that far in.
No, maybe I have unlocked Shackles. Maybe that's more of the recent ones I've unlocked.
Okay. Well, anyway. So then... Basically, let's just, as you know then, based on the class that I think you've unlocked, there's sort of a class in Frosthaven that more or less just does what Eclipse should have done. It's basically a fixed original Eclipse, right?
Yeah.
So, thanks, Isaac. That makes our job really easy. But so in that case, we basically just had to make a new class. So we really did a top-down design for Eclipse, and it is really reworked.
Yeah, that class was in my previous party. I have retired it now, but it was in my previous party. And yes, no, I totally get where you're coming from with that. to not say anything too spoilery for anyone here, but yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, but that'd be interesting. I guess the only other one, and I won't press you for much details, would be probably the music note character. I would imagine would be one that would be maybe not completely changed actually, but would need significant changes in some way.
Yeah, so the 4 in the game that had the most changes were, and one of these will certainly be unexpected, but so it was Eclipse, Three Spheres, Music Note, and Cthulhu, actually. And there are a number of reasons why Cthulhu. Part of it is actually because part of what used to be Cthulhu mechanically was Cthulhu's mechanical identity, but thematically didn't really have a lot tied to Cthulhu's identity. It's actually moved to Eclipse, to the new Eclipse. But and people could probably guess to some degree what that means just by inference, although I won't really be specific. But Music Note did change a reasonable amount, although sort of the systems of how Music Note plays changed, but to still do the same thing that Music Note did before, or to do the same thing that Music Note was supposed to be doing before, essentially. And we've basically just worked it made it in such a way that you spend a lot more time thinking about and working on doing the thing that Music Note should be doing, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. And actually, to be fair, like, I mean, Cthulhu, I think, was one of the most thematic kind of characters, especially considering the unlock path in the original game. And it was a character that never quite lived up to maybe what it could do in terms of what its theme really is. I mean, I personally think it is the most thematically interesting character from that game.
Absolutely agree.
So there was a lot of room there, I think, to grow.
Yeah, and I think that basically, all right. So I'll try to. I mean, this is going to be a very minor Cthulhu spoiler for anyone, not for the new version, but for the old version. You know, I know that on this channel, you guys all kind of know spoilers. Most people watching at this point, but I still try to be a little bit careful. But basically, like, yeah, the problem is that yes, so that was such a like the class is such an amazing theme, and mechanically, people enjoyed like the class is mechanically a popular class, but basically most of it boiled down to like make ranged attacks with higher values than average relative to the condition that's being applied, and then profit essentially. Which, yeah, I mean, felt decent, right? Like it felt pretty good to do, but like that whole thing, like the most dominant build for this class, the most dominant thing that most people did for the class, had like thematically basically no tie whatsoever to what the like what the whole theme of the class is about. So this was actually one that we did rework. Because I mean, as you said, we also thought it was the coolest thematic class in the game, and we really wanted the mechanics of the class to represent the theme more so than they did in the first edition by a reasonable degree.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what we were saying, Hernandez. It's not that if it's yes, it was thematic, but there were opportunities for it to be even more so, or for its mechanics to better align with its theme. You don't need to like the backstory does not need to change, like in terms of that side of things, like the class origin, if you like, does not need to change, but it was the more of the mechanics need to better align with that origin was I think more of the point.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give people the super cool build up, right? I mean, well, you can because again, it was fine, but yeah, you give people a super cool build up, especially with the personal quest if you got that, and then you basically told them like, okay, well, ranged debuffer, but with a different sort of different skew than what people would expect. So just that's more or less it. We just want people to feel like they're doing the thing that class is all about doing, and that means both doing it to enemies and doing it to allies.
Fenris is dangling a carrot saying you should just show off Cthulhu. Just saying.
Well, all right, I'll I mean, Themris is saying that, but Themris doesn't really believe that. He's just trying to get me in trouble here. But the best way that I can say this is that, okay, so right now, if I were to show off Cthulhu to you, which I could do, because I can do whatever I want. I've got the power. But no. If I were to show it off right now, it would, like, I could explain it to you and everyone here on stream. I could explain, like, I've kind of already gave this whole preamble. So at this point, I could actually basically just show the class and you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. But then the problem is someone's going to, screenshot the cards from the stream and they're going to post on Reddit or post on Discord and it's going to share to Reddit. And then people are just going to see the cards without the explanation. And they're not necessarily going to understand, okay, well, why did this change so much? So for classes like this, at least I feel, and I think we feel that it's a bit better to handle it with like a bit of explanation in terms of like, why this had to change. Because anytime you change something that people liked, you do need to explain to them, why you had to change it or why you felt the need to change it, why it was important to change. And so, I wouldn't be afraid to show it here. I would just be afraid of the repercussions of showing it here with people seeing it later without getting all the background for understanding why we changed it.
No, and I think I certainly appreciated, your little, your kind of posts on BGG and on the Backerkit, just kind of giving like a little bit of, hey, this is the class and these are the decisions that drove. I think that's good to add that color there because it helps to really kind of establish what was great about the character initially. That we love this needs to stay and needs to be brought up. And then these elements are elements that we thought, hey, we could do some work here.
So, I guess. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, all right. So because Dwarf said show the board, I guess I can say this, right? Like I can just say a general thing about it, but not really. Not show the cards and anything like that. But I can just say, okay. So basically, the catch with the new version of it, and because this won't really ruin anything that people had before, is that we've given the class its own unique, I mean, not actually condition, but essentially condition, which is called plague. and which only it interacts with. So basically, everything the class does is by spreading plague now. Actual plague.
Nice. There you go. That's your tidbit.
Yeah, there's the tidbit. So
yeah.
that's the whole thing, right? Like it all comes down to the core mechanic now at this point.
Good. Yeah. Rather than like the one card that you would play with the word plague on it.
Yes, exactly. Precisely.
Wow. Nice. Awesome. Well, I mean, it's got to be getting pretty late there for you. Yeah. I don't want to keep you any longer. Thank you again so much for coming on and talking and staying afterwards and talking for a bit as well. It's really good and fun to talk to you. And yeah, everybody, you know, a big thank you to Gripe in chat for coming on. It's very kind of him to give up some of his time to come on and play. Always a good time. And we're looking forward to more second edition reveals then. So 3 Spears on Friday then. That's what we've got to look forward to.
Yep, 3 Spears will be up on Friday.
Nice.
And then Cragheart, the last. It's not that he's the least. It's simply that he was so slow to get there. He's just walking, but he hasn't quite made it there yet. You know, he takes his time. But yeah, he'll be up on Monday. And again, the reason that Cragheart's kind of like at the end, well, is mostly just because I mean, here Silent Knife and Cragheart both at the end, and then Bruiser before that, because these were kind of the starters that had the least changes. So we're sort of just like the least sexy to show off because there's just not a lot that changed. So we're like, okay, yeah, you made minor adjustments, that's fine. So that's why these are the last 3. So Cragheart will be on Monday.
Yeah, leave the best till last. That's what I say.
Well, I mean that's fair. I mean Cragheart, that's the thing though. Like Cragheart was an excellent class before. Balance-wise was close. Thematically was awesome. Everyone loved Cragheart. Don't need to change much. Ship it.
Yeah. If only it was that easy.
Yeah, if only.
Awesome.
All right.
Wow. Thanks again, dude.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I look forward to. I mean, I admit I've watched all your reviews, so I mean, not always live. I've only occasionally been able to stop it a little bit, but looking forward to the VOD of your next review. So for those of you who want to check out Mandatory Quest reviewing, or at least talking about his experiences here with Wild Fury, come back on Friday. Yeah, on Friday we'll be going through the cards, and so my stream will probably dovetail fairly nicely into when you guys release the 3 Spears information. I imagine you guys do that kind of in the afternoon, don't you? It'll be like is it US time? I think it's normally pretty early US time. And usually for me, it's around 6 or 7 p.m. here. Yeah. So it'll be a little bit before my stream goes live. Then it'll be when the post. So we might have a sneaky look at that as well. Just fair enough. Run our eyes over that as well. All right. Well, anyway, have a great remainder of your week. Yeah. And yeah, thanks again. Awesome. See you later. Yep. See you. Yeah. Bye. I think still, interested. That's the blessing from Chad. That's the blessing from. Isaac, at this point, can we get your approval to add an additional attack modifier deck for allies in the digital version?